LSU-Chevrolet.com. Pretty good.
Keep talking.
There it is.
There it is. Are you two now? What happened? All right, keep going.
What happened?
Friday edition, Black Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, live here, driven and powered by Ghost Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Mikey Motuk is here. Lloyd is here. We good? We're all good.
I think so.
Yes, like, share the post. Hope everybody had a good, safe holiday. We have a lot to talk about here before tomorrow's LSU-Texas A&M regular season finale. Egg Bowl last night. Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin beat Mississippi State. New Orleans Saints looked really bad on offense. Looked really bad last night as the Buffalo Bills use the Saints as a bounce-back game as they get right. Saints lose now 3 consecutive games. Okay, that sounds something happened. Something happened. And the coaching search rolls on. That sounds fantastic. That sounds really good.
There we go.
Welcome in here to the Jordy Culotta Show. Happy Thanksgiving, boys.
Happy Thanksgiving.
How was it?
It was great.
Yeah?
A little travel.
On the road a lot.
Yeah, I was on the road. It was on the road going home on Wednesday, home as in Lafayette, was a lot worse than going to Baton Rouge Thursday.
There we go.
Because there's there we go. Now we're gonna
Getting out of town was worse than getting back in.
Yes.
Okay.
There's nobody driving yesterday. During the day. But the rain sucked. People don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I hate?
Yeah.
I hate people who don't know how to drive in the rain.
Well, they freak out.
They freak out and listen, there's times where hey man, this is real hard to see. Let me slow down, put my caution lights on, maybe even pull over. You had people putting caution lights on, driving 15 miles an hour under the speed limit, and you could see, it was raining, but you could still see they panicked hard. And I was like, that's how people get in wrecks.
Snow and rain freak people out.
Well, snow down here for sure.
Yeah, snow. I just kind of stay off.
Yeah.
All right, we will get to Lloyd. How was Thanksgiving? You're freaking out over there. I can see it in your face. It sounds good. I feel like it sounds good.
It sounds good.
Okay, I feel like I'm popping in and out a little.
Sometimes.
No, you are. Yeah. You are.
Let's see if I can fix it. Oh, there we go. There we go. Good Thanksgiving, boys. Good Thanksgiving. Wanted to tried a little too hard on this audio while y'all were gone, but turns out it didn't work. But I will get it fixed. Sounds good now.
Yeah, it's good. We're
just
good.
trying to live that little hum. It just sticks in me.
Well, there's no hum.
We're good.
I can hear a little bit of something. These finely tuned ears.
I think we're good though. I really do.
Okay. Don't let us know.
Tell me about your Thanksgiving.
Bro, didn't do a thing. Stayed home. They went to Alexandria, and then because I didn't know if we were gonna do something Thursday, so I was like, I can't make it Wednesday.
Wait. You were in Baton Rouge all day yesterday?
Uh-huh.
Dude, you could have
you bastard.
What? What's wrong with that?
Okay.
You could have brought you some food or something.
Yeah, did you not have any food?
I gave thanks by myself. I was very thankful.
Literally just by yourself.
A whole day.
Did you use me as an excuse?
It wasn't an excuse. I was in limbo. I didn't know what we were doing. You said, maybe do a little.
But I did tell you on Wednesday night
that you should take her. How committed are you? I was like, I'll stay. I'll do some stuff there.
Yeah, but I sent the text message Wednesday saying take off tomorrow and don't worry about it.
I know, but then we do our Thanksgiving at night, so it would have been a late night Thanksgiving. Wake up early, drive back, and I was like, How committed am I to this show? Very committed. I'll stay at home.
How did you feel about that? How did you feel about the by yourself? It was kind of.
It was excellent. That's what I'm saying. At first, I was like, oh man, I kind of miss being with the family. But then when I realized I woke up this morning, worked out, felt great, and I was like, that's what I really needed. Was just the old recharge. I got to recharge my batteries.
A little staycation.
Yeah, a little staycation. Nobody to bother me.
No leftovers. No leftovers.
Those are coming in today, so I'll get the.
You still.
I'll get second meal.
Look,
and I still get. I think I might have hacked Thanksgiving.
Hey, there's something to be said about sitting at your house chilling with nobody there and not even having to speak a word to anybody.
That's exactly what I did.
You're welcome.
Sat there and said, dude, I was like, this is awesome.
You're welcome. Remember, daily, the Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by True Blue Water. Our friends over at True Blue Water, online at trubluewater.com. Also, our coffee is Majestic Coffee, DeliciousSips.com. All of our phone line guests, which today I don't have any. Metropolitan Health Group is always our phone line guest, though. Real Doctors, Real Solutions, Charlie Harvey and Jason Ramazan. LSU basketball tonight.
Yes.
Penn State from the Emerald Coast Classic. We'll talk about that matchup with the Tigers coming up, but let's get to LSU football as the Tigers take on Texas A&M tomorrow night. You going? I'm in, bro.
I'm in there.
I'm going.
Are you tailgating? Or are you going straight to the game? Come tailgate.
How's the weather?
It's going to be a little chilly,
cold.
but it's going to be
It's
nice.
cold. A little zip in the air.
Probably get out. Probably get out.
It's going to be nice.
Probably get
You're
out.
going to walk out. Whoa, I got some energy.
Yeah, we'll probably be out there for sure. I mean, we're definitely going to the game. So I
Can't
mean,
hold anything back now. It's the last game of the season.
yeah, we're in. So we'll be there tomorrow night.
Where else
But,
sitting? Give me the exact row and seat. No, I'm just joking.
no. I'm sitting
I'm gonna sit with you.
like Stadium Club, the old school
Okay.
style.
Yeah, nice.
Right.
Nice. Okay.
You
Cool.
sweet?
Yeah, I got
I
it.
get you, bro. I would
Don't
expect
give me
anything
that.
less. I would
Don't
expect
give me
anything
that.
less.
Don't give me that. Don't
But
give me like that.
if we're gonna debate this, I kind of like the Stadium Club.
I see the advantage of the Stadium Club. The only thing I like about the suites is the free alcohol, obviously. And the
Sure.
bathrooms are literally
Absolutely.
right across from the suite. You don't have to wait in line and pay for food.
Last week or 2 weeks ago, did the South Stadium Club, and I'm still sticking with my original play, bro.
You like the old one?
I like the old school. All right. Yesterday, waves were made as One Team One Podcast, I believe, tweeted out that high-end recruits are being told that it's Lincoln Riley for LSU. And actually, One Team One Podcast, who I believe is in the chat today, show yourself.
Come here, take your credit while it's
Yes.
here. Run.
Tell us who that recruit was that's staying in town because he was told it was Lincoln Riley. But that was the report yesterday that had everybody talking. I was at Thanksgiving and people were showing me the tweet, asking me about the tweet. Who's going to be next? You said it was going to be Billy Napier. Billy Napier's going to Florida now. But it looks like, as we talked about last week when the Florida job opened up, that LSU had their guy and had him in place. And it seemed like all signs were kind of pointing towards Lincoln Riley. And the more that time has elapsed since then, the more some of these reports have come out, kind of claiming that, at least some of the high-end LSU people are starting to believe that it's Lincoln Riley. And now if you're telling recruits that, that could really point towards that. There was a report that he was in town on Thanksgiving night. I mean, I got that texted to me.
I got that one texted to me that I texted to you.
That I received, that
that
I've
was it
heard
to
of.
Lloyd.
I was like, oh, I got to start working on the document if this is flying around. Could there be a better spot for coaching search and coaching rumors than Thanksgiving?
No.
The rumors could not fly faster than at the Thanksgiving table.
But for Jordy and for us, or really more for Jordy,
yeah.
It's got to be the worst because now he's at the table and all of his family's getting it. And he's like, well, this is what I saw. What is going on?
What do you know?
The funniest is like when they're like, and the wife's like, you said you weren't going to ask him.
Right.
Have the talk before.
The husband's like, no,
he's like, well, I mean, I didn't know there was going to be breaking news while we were sitting at the table.
I mean, I got to ask him now. Like, they're getting ready. It's like, all right, Jordy Culotta's going to be there. Don't ask him any stupid questions. Like, don't bother him on Thanksgiving.
Don't talk
but
about
Jordy, I hear that
the whole
there's
time.
search.
Here's what makes you so laugh about stuff like that. Laugh so much about stuff like this is, dude. There's in our group text, a lot of my buddies, which we talk about ball busters. Like, hey, dude, there's nobody safe in our group text.
Yes, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, it's your boys, like that I went to school with. Like,
think you can make it from here?
yeah. So we get a screenshot from this person. I don't even know who it was. Anyway, in Tiger droppings, and they're like, heard. He goes, my
Source.
brother or cousin is
sure.
the coach for this travel ball USSSA travel ball team, and he got a text, and they already had tryouts and sign-ups, and they got a text, an email wondering from Lincoln Riley's wife, wondering if their son could too late to sign up for AAA for baseball. Lincoln Riley doesn't have a son. So these people are just making shit up out of the blue just because they want to be like the person to break it on Tiger droppings. Like, come on, man.
It is.
Let's go.
Well, I mean, that's the season we're in. And hopefully I think that you find something out that I really do think that this thing will be announced in the next 48 hours. I mean, how many times have you been told that Scott Woodward is at the duck camp over the last week? I mean, he's duck hunting? I'm like, yeah, who cares?
Because it's done.
Well, it's either done or
He's not
he
duck
can
hunting.
Zoom from his duck hunting camp. You know what I mean?
I think Scott knows how to do this part.
I mean, it's just everybody is on. I think everybody really and truly, I think everybody's exhausted.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
want it over with. They want it over with,
think
for
it's,
sure.
It's you're kind of past the point of being curious, and you're more into like the frustration level of who's it going to be. Like, at what point do you just say, look, man, this is the guy, this is who we're rolling with? And I think that comes on Sunday at the earliest, and I think it comes in on Monday at the latest. I still can't answer the question, on what we debated last week on why we're pulling for Oklahoma State tomorrow in Bedlam.
It may not be an issue anymore.
If Lincoln Riley is the coach, obviously they would be, there would be a Big 12 championship game that would be tied to the win for Oklahoma and a possibility of a playoff berth.
I saw did you see the rankings? They're not even in the top 10. I mean, Oklahoma.
Right.
Oklahoma State is their 8. There's no way they
but
get
if you
into
get
the
into
playoffs.
a Big 12 championship and you win it.
If you win the Big 12 championship, you're in.
That's why you can't pay attention to these rankings really until
unless you're Cincinnati.
Selection Sunday.
They play tonight.
Unless you're Cincinnati, because Cincinnati had to be put in the top 4 to have a chance to be in the playoff if they
be able
went
to
out.
stay in the top 4.
Yeah, right.
I just don't see. I guess I could see it. That's the timeline. Then that's what makes people concerned. If they beat Oklahoma State, win the Big 12 championship, and then they're in the playoff, then that does move the timeline considerably. If you're worried about Lincoln Riley and LSU,
if the report about the recruits is true, it doesn't. I guess apparently it doesn't matter.
One team, one pod.
You just say.
I mean, come on.
You just say, hey, we got Lincoln Riley as the coach, and all these guys are going to stay, and you're going to get recruits just because of the name, and like LSU is kind of recruiting. Like if that's the case, then fine. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know. And this and to another point, this was the timeline all along. People are getting frustrated.
That's right.
And all of these things, like this was what we, from the beginning of the search, hey, they didn't fire him. They let him finish out the year. They're not going to announce another coach until the season's over with. That was what the assumption was. That's what we talked about. That's what everybody was saying. And so now it's getting down to the last few days, and now everybody's getting frustrated. This was the timeline.
Right.
This was the timeline from the beginning.
Yes or no?
Yeah, the prom is coming up, dude. Are we going or not?
This is the timeline.
Buy the ticket.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the deal? Are you in or you out?
Do you think that he knows? Do you think if you've got...
Yes.
I guess you have to run with some of this information coming out, Scott. You have to run with the fact
well, it's a done
absolutely
deal. I mean,
It's
it has to be it's a done deal now. The coach is done. The coach is probably be done for a week.
So if you have to pick, then who it is? You hear the Dave Aranda contract. You hear the Mel Tucker
contract.
That's
why I know it's real.
So
that's why I know that the coach is in place, because all these guys were told no. And we're told no. Hey, Dave, sorry, we went another route. Hey, obviously these guys, but like the guys that we thought were in the top 3, like I wouldn't be surprised if you heard Napier's today or tomorrow say he's going to Florida.
I think it'll be on the same timeline as LSU. I think as soon as that game goes final for Florida and Florida State on Saturday, that Florida is going to issue a press release stating that stating that Florida has found their coach, which I don't think is outside the realm of possibility for LSU on Saturday night. Because one thing that we have all agreed on and have all heard is that on Saturday, once the contractual obligations of Ed Orgeron are completed from, just like post-game presser, whatever you're pressing right now is working.
Yeah, that sounded good.
But whatever Orgeron has to do Saturday night post-game, the radio interview, the press conference, meet with the team, stuff like that, it's over for him. Like, he's done as the LSU head football coach Saturday night. So if that move is going to be made, that sudden, I wouldn't be surprised that if a press release followed stating that, announcing who the coach is. And, with a press conference to be, TBD on Monday. So, I mean, I think that this thing has to move fast. One Team, One Pod says, do you think that the announcement could come after the Big 12 championship game if it's Lincoln Riley? I don't think you can wait that long. I really
it comes
don't.
Out before that.
I think you have to get this thing done Sunday or Monday, whether Riley stays in place, if he's the guy or not. Because, like you are reporting, if they are telling, if they are telling recruits that,
deal.
that message is already begun to be sold, and if a guy is in place, if Riley is in place, that message needs to start being pounded, because there's just a short window here before the early signing period where they've got to get this class back into contention.
There's a couple big dogs they have to go get too. Like, there's a couple guys that are undecided, that haven't made their decisions, and by having the name of Lincoln Riley may help get those guys in before the early signing period. You have to. It just doesn't make sense to hold on to it. If you have the guy, you have to announce it.
I agree.
You just have to.
I agree. D. Granger said LSU is handling this search all wrong with the thumbs down emoji.
How?
Look, I don't know if I agree with that. And one thing that we have to point out, and one thing that has to be said publicly, is how impressive Scott Woodward's inner circle and his ability to keep information tight in this community. Because if anybody was here during the Joe Oliva years, and even before that, even if you're kind of an older head and you've been following LSU sports or recovering LSU sports and on the front line of the media, you knew at any time anything big or anything that was happening in or around that athletic facility or really institution, sometimes the media was the first to find out. Sometimes people on the outside were talking about it more than the people on the inside were. And especially at times when the LSU coaching search was the topic of conversation, people were interested, people were curious, people were using contacts, people were asking around on what was happening. People that were working at LSU were even more curious than the people not working inside the facility. And what Woodward has done in just his short time at LSU of cutting off the leak, securing his inner circle, and making sure that all the information that is going on based on that athletic administration stays airtight is impressive at the very minimum. Because of, first, what he had to clean up, and second, just how confident and airtight his team is. Salute to him. I mean, I'm saying somebody as somebody who's looking for information throughout this process and trying to report it to the public. When I tell you that at every turn and every corner, when you think you have information, that you really have to second guess because nobody knows. Dellinger said it best yesterday. I don't know. And when Ross Dellinger
doesn't know,
who is as tied in as anybody in college football, and specifically in Baton Rouge, if you want to think of college football programs as a pentagon, Ross Dellinger is in the fifth ring of the majority of the SEC programs and a lot of them nationally, but nobody is he further infiltrated than LSU football. And for him to come out and say, I don't know who it's going to be. Like, securely, he's got his feelings.
But that's the thing, is people won't say, well, LSU hasn't handled it or they've done this. LSU hasn't done anything. The only names and speculation that's been coming out is from people like us, making like, hey, this is what we think, this is what we're feeling, this is not what we're hearing. This is what someone's rumored, but Scott hasn't said anything to anybody.
In a 12-hour period, this show said that no doubt this is a two-horse race between Dave Aranda and Billy Napier, to the next day stating that Lincoln Riley has a done deal in place.
Right.
And as I sit here and tell you that, I still don't know if that's 100% confident. I mean, it kind of looks like it, feels like it. But I don't know it.
So I would argue that LSU's played this right. Because LSU, Scott Woodward and LSU have not said anything. They have not tipped their hand. They have not. So I would say that they played this the right way because, look, they're not interfering with other schools like season that's going on. There's no advantage to hiring a guy that was still working for another school in the middle of the season. There was no advantage to any of that. So I would argue that they're doing this the right way, like the way it's supposed to be done.
Isn't this a classic case of them playing the result? Like the fan base, they won't say, you can't really say if LSU did this right until they get a name out there that they appreciate and respect.
Right, for sure.
Like if this is the process and they come back with insert a name that's not Lincoln Riley or Dave Aranda or not Mel Tucker, but Napier in some cases, then I'd imagine a lot of the fan base would be upset. If it's you played it like this and you go get Mel Tucker, I feel like a lot of the fan base wouldn't be happy. Or a Matt Campbell, they wouldn't be happy. It's the way that it's played out for this long. It's led people to be able to pick their own guy, like in the fan base of who they want to be the head coach, because they've been able to play all the scenarios. So there's always going to be a contingency of the fan base that's unhappy. Like, it doesn't matter how you did it, but if you play it this way and drag it out this long, it better be a name.
Yeah,
is what it feels like for the fan base.
Yeah, well, and I think that's the most frustrating part for people.
Like to know
that are
stuff.
stating they just don't know.
Yeah,
you just don't know anything.
Nobody knows.
I love it. It's a great movie.
It is. I mean, it'll be a great book. and like the people that really knew the entire time. Like I'd imagine like Jimmy Sexton probably has known, like some of the high-end agents.
I'd be curious to know when the decision was made.
Like when the deal was made.
Yeah, like hey, did he know this for a while? He said because if this decision, let's just say this decision was made 3 weeks ago, right? And let's say Lincoln Riley had like this is a done deal, inked the deal, like this is it, contingent upon like whatever, but like this is the guy, and none of that leaked, none of that came out. Like that is more impressive than like keeping the decision like that. We want to hire this guy under wraps.
Again, just speculating here. I feel like the deal got done the week that all that smoke was surfacing around Riley, and he was asked in that post-game press conference around the job, or he was asked in the press conference around the job, and he really didn't give that definitive. And he's like, "Come on, guys, y'all know we've been here before. You know how I feel about this place."
Especially
where you really kind of when you look conversely to what Jimbo did that Monday, I believe that was on a Tuesday.
Right.
Riley's, compared to what Jimbo did the day before, where he says, he calls himself, "How dumb can I have been? Could I be if I leave this place?" Which, that's a soundbite where you're like, okay. I mean, like, wow. I mean, if he does leave, I'm going to roast your ass on that.
Glenn Bilbo already has the article written.
Like, everybody in the room in Norman, to me, was thinking the same and probably felt the same way as I did in Baton Rouge when I heard Lincoln Riley say that, kind of saying, well, you didn't slam the door.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? The door's still a little bit cracked where when I leave you, I can say, hey, I've always felt about how I've always felt about this place.
And it feels like Dave Aranda's answer was even better.
I thought that Dave Aranda's was very definitive.
Yes.
I thought Aranda was very definitive, and if you've seen some of the national media start to sway on Aranda, you can see that his people, his kind of inner circle, is putting out, we're staying. We're staying at Baylor. I mean, they're committed to Baylor. Baylor's committed to them, and I mean, Aranda is staying in Waco.
And for the people for the fans and the people that are listening and that think that they chose those over LSU, I think it's the opposite. I think LSU didn't choose them.
Yeah, sure.
And that's why they are coming out.
Look, this is
Jimbo on a whole different. Jimbo's a whole different situation. There's a whole bunch of different. There's a bunch of paths with there on that side. But as far as like Aranda, all these guys announcing that they're staying, that's not because they chose their school over LSU. I just want people to get that.
No, that is that is, and you know this. That's good agents,
no doubt,
doing great work,
no doubt.
Seeing a crack and saying, "Hey, I'm going to get you more money. I'm going to get you more years. I'm going to get you more job security." And whether the school knows it or not, and the school knows, I mean, LSU has to ask permission to speak to any of their candidates. But you can flirt with the agent. The agent can say, "Hey, look, I got a message from LSU asking if you guys would be open to talking. Why don't we just kill that at the pass and you just pay him and give him more years now? And I can just call and tell LSU, you know what, we're good here." And I mean that's just how this game works. I mean that's. Mel Tucker gets $98 million and gets beat by 50.
He gets beat by $98 million.
70, he gets beat by the same number. It's 72 hours later.
I signed that contract, if y'all are wondering. Signed it Saturday night, right after that game. Like, here you go.
He went inside at halftime and made sure he's had that thing signed.
Hey, we got that money, right?
Hey, that's still on my desk.
We good, right?
Bring that down here. Let me sign that real quick.
Call your wife. Can you go in and sign that? Really bad, just missing your signature.
You have power of attorney. Go do it.
Yeah.
Go do it now.
Speaking of changes, did you see Lane Kiffin switch cities at halftime?
Yeah, I think it was the rain. Was it the rain?
I don't know. But it looked both were popping. He went sissy blue.
Offensive game turned into a defensive game, huh?
Yes. We'll talk to that. We'll talk about that in a minute. Daily, we're brought to you by Johnson Spillers. Johnson Spillers is our dentist here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Check them out. They're out in Gonzales and in Baton Rouge. Can help you out with anything that you're looking for, whether it is pediatric dentistry, general dentistry. Get in touch with Johnson Spillers, johnsonspillers.com. And if you're looking for great holiday ideas, Botox, any type of gift cards over there with Botox, they can help you out. Johnson Spillers, johnsonspillers.com. Nick Richard says we are running out of time. I think, Nick, that is
right on time, baby.
I think that is the sentiment, but I think that they've got their guys, so they're letting time just go by. That's why I say expect something over the next 72 hours, an announcement as early as Sunday, as late as Monday, in my opinion. You will know who the next LSU head football coach. It is the stance of this show that we believe that Lincoln Riley will be announced as LSU's next head coach.
That's our third different prediction, but I think we're on this one.
I got Napier. I got Napier going to Florida. I got
Lane going to Miami.
Lane going to Miami.
Do you think he's leaving?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I got Jeff Lebby going to be the head coach at Ole Miss, who's the offensive coordinator right now.
And they seem okay.
You
with
think?
that.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. I mean, when the smoke was billowing around LSU being in line for Kiffin a couple of months ago, like you were hearing from people that they were just kind of like reserved to the fact that Lebby was going to be the head coach, and he could just kind of carry that on.
All right.
I love the way they call a game, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the way they set you up, the way that they kind of attack your weaknesses. That's why I was watching that game last night, still thinking.
Gotta want him still.
Yeah, you still want
him.
Kiffin. I mean, like, no way you call Mark Stoops. No way you call Bill O'Brien. No way you settle on guys like that when Lane Kiffin would tell you yes in a heartbeat, and you just watch his teams play and think, my God, man. I mean, you think about that creativity with LSU's offensive firepower and
makes you want
Walker
John Emery
Howard.
back.
Like all those guys.
I forgot about John Emery.
John Emery would feast to that offense. They
John
would use him
Emery's
like Ely.
He'll be drafted. He's going to get drafted.
They won the game on that 4th and 6 call with like 12 minutes left in the game in the fourth quarter on their own side of the 50. And he's like, I mean, I know he's not scared to take chances.
No.
Like, regardless play, situation, he just knows plays that work. 4th and 6, he throws, like, flings a little screen out there to a running back, flips it, first down, keep it moving. Like, he doesn't care what down it is. He just knows, like, how to run his plays. He knows what's going to work in what situation, flips it out there, 4th down, all right, first down, here we go. And now if you're the defense, you're so predicated on what they do, you can't attack them at all. Like, he brings the fight to you on offense, and it is frustrating to watch if you bet against Ole Miss.
He's not scared to do. He doesn't care.
Not intimidated.
He's not intimidated about the situation. He doesn't care about what people are going to say that he's doing.
You saw it in the Alabama game.
My favorite quote that he had was, if you're going to play the numbers, you're going to play the analytics, then you have to play the numbers and play the You can't just say, oh, it works here, it doesn't work here, it works here, it doesn't work here. Like, yeah, there's times you need a punt, but if our strategy is, hey, we're going to play these numbers and we're going to go for it, we're going to be aggressive, then you got to do it.
He sticks to
his
script.
You got to commit to it. Yep, for sure.
He absolutely does, and he plays the game of, like, the feel game of the, like,
energy,
like off of a turnover. He will kill you. You know
that's what you're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
And then throw the play card up. Like, he's in touch with the game.
You check somebody in.
Guy.
You check somebody in new on a drive that's fresh off the bench. He will attack him 3 plays in a row. I mean, the feel that he has, he is so in to the game. And I just love the way that his team plays. I just love the way that his offensive team is creative. And I know that, Lebby gets a lot of credit for the play calling, but you can tell in big scenarios where he's got the play sheet over his mouth and he's barking into the microphone of kind of what he wants.
I wonder if Matt Corral's on the headset and he hears it and it's like, oh shit, it's Lane. Like, here we go, boys. About to be a big play coming in. This is gonna be different.
How about the sequence of Mississippi State? 3 touchdown passes dropped and then a field goal,
dude.
And there's 4 consecutive plays.
Oh man,
that's when they lost the game.
Brutal.
Yeah, how about that?
Brutal.
And then their field goal kicker.
Drop touchdown. Field goal.
3 in a row.
4 straight plays.
I mean, poor Mike Leach has been begging for a kicker. And
trying him out.
Trying him. And then the weather hits. You see this kicker out there. It's a 30-yarder, and it never even comes close to the uprights. It just stays right.
He kicked it out of the television.
and it just goes to Leach, and he's just staring at him like, what? Why did I do that? Why did I even trust the kid?
31-21 last night. Ole Miss wins the Egg Bowl over Mississippi State. Yeah, they
wish the carpool queen was here so we could talk to her, get her feelings on it.
She's glad she's not. I
can she's sleeping right now.
The cowbells are relentless.
I don't like them.
I mean, I hate them.
Hey, did y'all look at? Did y'all watch anything with Barstool?
I watched the Walker and Mincy.
Oh my God, dude, Walker
got upset.
He's he gets after it, bro.
Do you think?
And then Mincy's so nice, and Mincy's not great at shit talking. But Walker is. So he's going, and Mincy's trying to shit talk, but Walker won't let him. So he's hammering him, and I'm like, bro, Mincy's getting bodied right now, but like Ole Miss is winning. Like he has the. Yeah.
He's just sitting in the couch with him, just giggling at every play, and even that starts to bother Brandon Walker's like, "You shut your fat face up!" And he goes to grab a cowbell, and Brandon Walker's on the ground. He's like totally WWEing the thing. But Brandon Walker's on the ground whenever Mincy grabs the cowbell, and he goes, "You put your fucking hands off that cowbell!" He like got so upset about it. Mincy goes, "Woo!" and put it down. He like scared him. But watching those two go at it, the Egg Bowl is a real thing, I guess. Like I didn't know how serious it was,
I mean,
but you could tell they won it.
Yeah. I wish they just. I mean, we don't have
the boot.
No, we don't have like in-state. Like the in-state rivalries are way. It doesn't matter
intense.
what trophy you have. Like the in-state rivalries are like the deal, right? So like Alabama, Auburn, the Iron Bowl is going to be awesome, always awesome. No matter what the records are, you always know that
you're getting a game.
Yeah. Same with Ole Miss, Mississippi State. We don't really have that, which is, I mean, it's great for us for recruiting purposes because you don't have to compete with any other teams. But
I think that thing might ratchet up with Florida. UL fans are going to hop on that bandwagon fast.
And here's the thing, man. I mean, Napier's great. He's going to be great there if he goes there. It's going to be
going to LSU. I mean, he's going to Florida.
Breaking news.
Just joking.
What email did you get?
I'm telling you. He's going to Florida.
He just pressed send on that thing. He's going to LSU.
He's going to Florida.
Yeah, no, for sure. And there's just going to be, I mean, that's going to be battles, dude. It's going to bring the LSU-Florida rivalry is still is good, but, like, that's going to take it to another level because, UL fans don't like us. Some of them, for some reason. And
Little brother.
Yeah.
Have you seen?
They're gonna head over there and be their fans.
Some of the things that they say about this, I didn't know that it was that bad.
Me
They
either.
absolutely hate LSU.
Well, I think it's a very
small.
What's the loudest one in the room?
It's a small, loud contingency, but there is a portion, very small portion of the fan base that is so just insecure about LSU. I mean, like the Louisiana State, like
they're trying to call it Louisiana State University A&M Agriculture and Mechanical College. Like, sure, man.
Just call them the national champs.
Yeah, that's easy.
That's an easier way to do it, man.
But it's a loud contingency that has like a legit following on there. They have like people that have podcasts and like the UL Barstool is like going at LSU. It's like, oh my
they have
God.
a UL Barstool?
That's what I found that out too. But it's just the fact that they're so adamant about it. Whenever. I don't think they realize it doesn't bother us.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like you can yell as loud as you want.
Point
like,
and laughing.
Why does that
these
even
guys?
matter?
Okay.
We're all in Louisiana. Like, both of us can have success.
I would love nothing more for it to come together.
Yeah.
And instead it's going to divide farther apart with this. Napier would have divided it either way. Like, they would have been like, oh, LSU had to go get the little brother head coach. Or it would have been like, all right, hell yeah, we're all rooting for the same guy here. How much do you like Napier? But now him going to Florida, they're just going to hop on the Florida bandwagon.
No doubt.
Go buy you one of those camouflage shirts I saw Napier
But you know what?
Like
I will follow Florida more closely than I've ever followed Florida before if he goes there.
Yeah.
When he goes there. When he goes to LSU.
Lincoln Riley to LSU. Billy Napier to Florida.
Let me just make sure you clarify that
Dave
so
Aranda
nobody
to Baylor.
crucifies
Dave
you.
Aranda stays at Baylor. I wonder who's going to get the Oklahoma job.
Matt Campbell.
Matt Campbell?
Did they shuffle that much?
Oh, I mean, someone had the Oklahoma job.
Who's Lincoln Riley's offensive coordinator? Is he somebody worth promoting? Because it seems like they'd want to stick within that system, even though he's so young.
I mean, Matt Campbell would be Pac-12 going to.
Would you hire Brent Venables, their old defensive coordinator?
No.
Is Venables
I don't
going to
trust
leave?
Venables has
Is he
too much
leave though?
Clemson in him. He's been injected too many
He's got
times.
a lot of Clemson.
He got brainwashed.
He's got brainwashed. Yeah, you can't pull him out of that. He would be like a newborn if you took him out of that hospital. It'd just be everything's bright and pretty around here. What's happened?
I'm gonna drive the buggy out of the tunnel.
Yeah.
I'm driving the horses.
I get to sprint.
I have a question here, but let's say this: Lane Kiffin goes to Miami. How fast does Miami become relevant again?
Overnight.
You think next year?
Absolutely.
You think next year they're
Overnight.
relevant?
Well, look what he did to Ole Miss last season.
Yeah, but he already had Corral was already there.
You
right?
give him enough time to go there and make some splashes in recruiting.
Yeah,
like he'll flip a quarterback.
He'll get a lot of transfers. Yeah. Honestly, to be completely honest with you, he'll go get Spencer Rattler.
Well, they have a quarterback. Don't they have a young quarterback? Didn't Jake Garcia, the kid from QB1, the one that like transferred to Valdosta State to play for Ross Prost or whatever his name was?
Was that the guy from
went to USC? Was a USC commit, then transferred to Georgia. I think he went to
Miami,
and they had a youngster that like stepped in this season for De'Aaron King after he got hurt and kind of like changed the mood of Miami football. I don't know if he's going to save Manny Diaz's job, but
Well, not if Lane
You don't
Kiffin's
think
on the
Lane
table.
Kiffin goes there and just goes bring over Spencer Rattler in the
Possible.
portaler?
Or in the portal. Or, yeah, I guess you would imagine that Caleb Williams comes with Lincoln Riley if he goes to LSU. Or that would be a swing that Lane could take also and try to get
Tell
him
you
to
what,
Miami.
man. Plum Tiger brings up a good. I'd hire Josh Heupel if I was at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I mean, Tennessee, poor Tennessee. If somebody
losing
took
that
Heupel
quickly.
away, I mean, because he looks legit.
Oh yeah, for sure. Tennessee
Like,
was relevant. this
Tennessee
year.
is kind of, you know, what I
They're
mean?
getting
You
on
can
the
feel him.
upswing,
You can
for
feel him
sure.
coming up.
For sure.
Did he go to Oklahoma? What, he
Yeah,
Heisman winner there?
Yes, he was a quarterback.
He was
there.
right after Jason White.
His transformation from football player to football
Oh,
coach
yeah.
is just.
He committed
is.
to the dad bod. The dad bod
I'm
high
watching
school.
tape.
He looks like the dad bod high school coach now.
Exactly.
Bring me another pizza.
Yeah. Well, guess we'll order pizza again tonight, boys.
Daily, we were brought to you by Cajun Ready Mix Concrete. Remember, Cajun Ready Mix Concrete is brought to you, is online at CajunRMC.com. Get in touch with them where they can help you out with a residential, commercial, industrial, or municipal project. Got 9 locations around the greater Baton Rouge area, which means that your concrete will be on time. Fine. Did you see Nick Saban's rant? Did you hear Nick Saban's
I
rant?
sent it to Lloyd. I was like, how good is he, man?
I love that he hates Alabama fans.
But then the thing is, they love him even more for
No
saying
doubt.
that.
Did you hear the crowd was like,
That was the funniest part to me.
They're like,
He's straight up scolding
he's talking
them
about us,
you.
but please don't leave us.
You're
We
right,
know,
Nick.
Nick. We know, Nick. We know. I mean,
Funny,
dude,
dude.
he wanted. First, I think the call was planted. I think that he obviously wanted to say he wanted some type of message
Delivered.
that night to be delivered because it was obvious that was pissing him off. So he had somebody, which he is notorious to do, even his days back
Smart.
here in Baton Rouge. I mean, you can ask Hannegriff is the best. That was like Hannegriff was like in his media prime when Saban was here, and he was, you know, like the one that would like point out how Saban would plant questions, and it was genius. It was
So
genius because Saban knew that his team was watching and listening, and now especially in a social media age where they can just kind of like, you know, refresh your timeline, and you got little 30-second snippets of video of watching him lose his mind at his local radio show. So I think that this is no different than, you know, Nick Saban being very calculated, being very measured, and telling somebody around him to call me tonight or just planning the call on his radio show to get him into a topic that he can voice his mind over. And obviously this is something that has pissed him off when he dates back, when he brings up in the rant. I can remember when I got here and people just wanted to win a game.
Yep.
Now it's we
Now we know we gotta win by how much.
We gotta win by how much? I mean, like he was going
could see
in on the gumps. You self-absorbed.
Yep.
Like
Son
just
of a
you
bitch.
can't
He
can't get out of your own way.
Did he say
to
anything wrong, though?
No, not
No.
one thing.
He
I
said
mean, he
spot
wanted to
on.
say ass.
He
They
caught
play
himself.
their and he like
Butts.
they play their butts off. I would love to see Saban go into a MF rant. Like one time,
Oh,
like I
yeah.
know that's not his brand, but if you could kind of catch him like camera in the background, kind of like a, you know, like a Roll Tide what? I don't really blame Ed Ogeron for that. He was talking to his
No.
team.
Yeah.
He was in his locker room.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the message and the relationship that you have between players and
You
coaches.
heard Kirby Smarts. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
you don't like that.
exactly.
Coaches flip a switch, dude. When you have to motivate and you want to relate to your team, sometimes they just flip a switch. Also, what I loved about that whole rant was you saw it and you felt it building every because I watched it on Twitter or Facebook, wherever Facebook, Instagram, wherever I saw it. I don't even be on Facebook anymore.
I was curious to say, I'm a big Facebook guy.
But you saw it, and you had the clips, and then it would go to the next one. Then it would go. You had to slide, right?
Yeah.
And so you could see it. Okay, he's building up. You go to the next one. He's building up. You go to the next one. Like, oh shit,
Crescendoing.
he is pissed off, and that made it so much better.
The best, I mean, the way that you know that it's planted is the way that he didn't go off script. He kept he
yeah.
had points to
Yeah.
get to, you know. He's
Yeah.
like, because
Right.
The guy, I guess the host or whatever, their Alabama radio
Eli
show.
Gold.
Yeah, Eli Gold was trying to like kind of get in there. He's like, oh wait, he's not done.
Yeah, you can see him kind of like laughing.
Yeah, and he was like, very well said. He's like, and one more thing.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not done yet.
Yeah,
like, all right,
that's when he hit him with the self-absorbed at the end.
He was, as you can see, he was working himself up into a lather. He was like, you know what? I didn't write all the things that I wanted to say down.
I love that. I love that. I'm glad he did that.
The cheering was the best part.
It was the best part.
Sporadic in the back. Like, are you?
Was the best part.
Like,
He's talking about us.
Yeah, I've never seen somebody get motherfucked and then start clapping when somebody's yelling.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're
sir.
Right. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
I mean, think of the think of the program he built, man. Because he's right. When he got there in 2007, they lost to UO Monroe, and they were happy to have a winning record again. Then they won the national championship the next year, and then it was whatever. And then from, I would say, 11 on, it was like pure dominance. And, I mean, obviously from 8 on, but like from 11 on, it was like they're not just kind of beating teams, they're blowing teams out.
Building a dynasty.
And now he built a team where they can't just win, or not they can, but the fans don't just want them to win because they've seen them blow teams out so often that now it's about margin of victory, which makes 0 sense. Like, hey, dude, y'all don't need style points anymore. Y'all don't need those. Y'all are there. Y'all are the style. Y'all are what everybody's trying to chase. All you do is you get the dubs, and you're going to get to where you want to be.
I think they just found out about margin of victory because they've never lost really this early in the season. So they're like, oh, we have to do what to get into the playoffs? They're like, we'll score more points because that's what people are going. They don't really know.
But they don't
look up until now and see where they are in the playoff.
It was an all-time rant.
Yep.
I mean, it was one that I think that will go on, you'll live on forever for Saban because I think it hit home with a ton of people. And it shows you just how, and I don't mean this to take shots at Alabama fans, but it shows you just how miserable of a fan they are, of a fan base they are. Just how real the fall is going to be for that fan base when he leaves.
It's naive to think that they're gonna keep this.
Oh, it's
you can't think that.
It's a dream.
Asinine.
It's a dream.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an absolute dream to think that you could even mirror a third of the success that he has had with college football, with whoever comes next.
No,
So-
what makes you wonder, like, who would want to take that job after he leaves?
Well,
Because there's no way you could. That fan base, those people, like you saw them, they were showing up to the COVID-19 SEC media day. When it's like, well, we're going to have 1 or 2 people there. It's like, well, they showed up in droves and had to leave. The next person that takes that job, I don't know how you get out in front of those expectations. Like
Kirby Smart, Dabo, all these guys are gonna be so pumped because like
everybody's going to be pumped.
Well, think
Napier.
about it. You think you still think
Lincoln
he's wrong?
Riley,
I think that Napier might be the hand-picked
successor.
successor to Saban.
That's a tough job, bro. That's a tough job to have.
He would have to cut his teeth at Florida. He'd have to be really impressive, right?
Yeah.
But you have like those. Think of the difference. Think of the difference landscape college football would be if Saban like was there, but they like or let's say he wasn't there and they were just good. Clemson would have multiple national championships.
Oh,
Ohio State would have
LSU.
LSU would have multiple national. Like
I mean, Les
there would
Miles
be
would have
so
backed
much.
his way into about 4 national championships.
Yeah.
He had won 2 of them.
That's crazy.
You're running the ball 60 times a game. He's like,
Like,
oh,
you would
welcome to my
have-
new offense.
You would have like championships would be like spread all over the country, and not just stuck in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
I mean, they're trying to reformat the entire playoff because of Alabama. Like, we got to get some teams in this
Yeah.
thing because it's.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
look
like
at it right now. They're
It's like
still
Shaq
in
and the
it.
Lakers.
Well, you
Yeah.
got,
They're not going to
I
beat
mean,
these guys.
Yeah, take it out the
We've
West.
talked about this. I know we don't want to like harp on Alabama, like just keep harping on him, but I mean he can't coach for 5. I mean he's got 5 years more.
He's starting
max,
to do
right?
the early exit, not early exit for him, but he's starting to lay the foundation, the breadcrumbs of I can't travel anymore. You know, this recruiting. Then he said the 10 years thing, and he's been backtracking from that. I don't see 10 years if I over under it.
5.
6.
I say 5.
Whatever the Arch timeline
Yeah,
is.
well, Arch is junior. Next year's a senior. He'd say 3 years of him getting out of college. 4 or 5 years. 5 years. 5 years.
Oh, God, then it's over.
I mean,
Just hold with Lincoln for 5 years, then LSU could get through this and become
5
a
years from
power.
now, Lincoln becomes the Dallas Cowboys head coach.
He goes to Alabama.
Yeah,
Billy Napier
right.
comes to LSU.
Hey, that
Hey.
would be money. It all comes full
The
circle, baby.
carousel never stops. Where's Eric Bieniemy in 5 years?
Yeah, right. Have a gray, long beard. I told y'all Billy Napier was going to get the job at LSU.
In the chair.
Daily, we're brought to you by Falaya Real Estate. Remember, online at falaya.com. Get in touch with Barrett Blondo, our friend over at Falaya Real Estate. He can help you out. He's changing the way that real estate is bought and sold here in the capital city. Get in touch with him at 225-939-6153, 939-6153. Sell your house today by yourself and save thousands. It's do it yourself for selling your house. It is much more than for sale by owner. You get stuff like exposure on MLS, Zillow, Realtor.com, and all the major sites, virtual tours, push-button offers, document automation with e-sign, all of that available to you over at Falaya. Get in touch with them as this is TurboTax for real estate. Barrett Blondo, 225-939-6153, 225-939-6153 is the phone number as you can get in touch with them there. LSU basketball tonight plays Penn State. Looking forward to that one as the Tigers will take on the Nittany Lions. That'll be at 6 o'clock on the from the Emerald Coast Classic. That'll be on CBS Sports. Will be what time that thing tips off or where it tips off at 6 o'clock tonight. Gonzaga and Duke tonight. 9 o'clock, late tip-off, but that'll be a good one as well.
Is Duke good this year?
No, they're really good.
It's
really
Coach
good.
K's swan song, correct?
Yes.
Is he not on his way out?
Chet,
all in.
Your boy Chet's about to just throw it down on
All
him,
in, yeah. Big one for Chet Holmgren tonight.
Hey,
Surprised
Chet.
he's not at
How about the
Future
difference?
Pelican.
Yeah.
The Pelicans' last two number one picks. Let's just say they get the number one pick and they draft Chet Holmgren. You had Zion, who's, oh man, I don't know if Zion's gonna be able to keep the weight off.
Right.
And you get Chet Holmgren. He goes, man, I don't know if Chet's gonna be able to put weight on.
Yeah, Chet, eat everything. Go hang out with Zion for a month.
Well, and if you bring in Chet, it brings like the team balance, like the team weight down because you got Bi over there at 98 pounds. Like I don't know.
He had a great game last night.
Well, I knew he could score. I mean, I'm just saying, but he hasn't put any weight on since he's entered the league.
Neither has KD though. KD's
yeah,
good.
it seems like the only player that has is Zion. It's amazing. I don't know where he's going.
Zion is eating for everybody.
Give me that.
Hey, he's doing
You gonna eat that?
Hey,
You
he's
gonna eat that?
he's getting closer though. I saw the other day he was
So
doing
what,
some
400
he was
pounds?
doing some contact drills and like getting closer to full speed. We'll see.
He's gonna be a UFC fighter in 5 years.
Right.
UFC. If you can't run down the court, you think he's gonna be able to last in
I
an
just found
octagon?
Who's your boy in Lafayette?
Cormier's from Lafayette
Yeah,
too.
Daniel
but,
Cormier. He's the bigger one.
he's the bigger one. You're talking about him?
Yeah, he got caught eating chicken tenders on the big screen. He was at I think it was
Hey,
Knicks
Lafayette,
game.
like South Louisiana's put out some big time
They
MMA
have.
fighters.
I mean,
They
that's
really
not
have.
shot. Go to City Bar. They're all practicing.
Is City Bar still a thing?
Again,
there?
not for many people, but
The
they will
Strip?
fight you there. Yeah.
Um,
Nighttown, the pub, the keg.
what I wanted to talk about with the basketball stuff.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. I'm still so full
Chet.
from yesterday.
I'm talking about Chet Holmgren.
Chet
You're
Holmgren.
talking about Duke
Duke
and
Yeah,
basketball.
LSU basketball tonight.
I can't wait.
I
I'm,
can't
I'm so
either. I
pumped.
really can't.
We're a basketball school this year. Sorry.
For sure.
We're a basketball school this year.
Absolutely.
Basketball and baseball.
It's time to pay our basketball coach when you talk about Will Wade. LSU at Penn State, 6 o'clock tonight. This is going to be the Emerald Coast Classic over on Northwest Florida State's Community College campus. Game is going to be televised at CBS Sports. Let's see here.
What channel is
with Penn
CBS
State.
Sports on?
I don't know. I don't know what that is. I think it's kind of like a secondary channel to CBS.
It's NBC Sports Network, I believe.
No,
right?
CBS
No,
Sports.
CBS
Sports.
Sports. CBS is so hard to find, dude. If you don't have the original CBS, it's a gambit to try to find these games.
I just go to YouTube TV and type search LSU. And they just
Yeah,
show up.
if you don't have the cable, these are tough ones. This is tough times for your boy. You got to find a little back channel, which
Yeah,
they don't always have.
I have
these
faith.
streams.
I have faith in you that you're
I
gonna
have
find
faith in
that.
myself also.
Yeah.
I've
That's
battled
the
many
one-
a pop-up.
That's the one thing that I know that I think that you're gonna figure out. I'm not worried about
Already
that.
fixed the internet here today. Fixed the sound system. We're good.
Yeah,
Just
you're the
another
IT
thing on the
guy.
list.
All right, how we feel about tomorrow's Oklahoma State game? Not another good day of sports.
Great day of sports.
Today, like I mean, not bad. I
Oh.
mean, when you talk about basketball,
Oh, basketball. Yeah.
a little bit of football.
Cincinnati
Just
plays tonight.
sprinkled it in.
Cincinnati plays tonight.
Who they play? SMU.
No, I just saw it on TV too.
They play SMU in the championship. No, not SMU. Houston. Wait, who do they play? They play Houston.
We got it right here.
Houston in the championship, right? If they win.
I'm on basketball still.
We got it right here. Hang on. Cincinnati plays East Carolina.
And then Houston in the championship of the whatever conference they're in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see games today. TCU, Iowa State. Matt Campbell plays at 3:30. Kansas State at Texas. Sarkisian and the Longhorns play at 11 a.m.
Are they still on their losing streak?
Still on the losing streak.
Who do they have?
Last
Kansas
beat by
State.
Kansas. Trying to get right today with Kansas State. North Carolina at NC State. Washington State at Washington.
This is a gift from the gods. A little Friday football after Thanksgiving, that's almost better than.
This is the normal. This is like the norm, dude. This is.
I know, but I've never
I used
really
to go to
thought
my
about
grandma's house, and this is closer to you, in Oakdale, Louisiana.
There we go.
Okay.
Oakdale, this
Oakdale.
small town Oakdale. We used to go, and then we'd go Thursday night for Thanksgiving. My grandmother has passed, obviously, but so we don't obviously go there anymore. But we would go. And she'd have a small house, we'd all hang out, and we'd get there, we'd hammer wine like it was water.
Yes.
And then we would watch Thursday night football, we'd wake up, hammer wine like it was water all day, and then it was the only thing was just football. The only thing you could do there was drink, eat, and watch football.
And
so
nap.
Friday and Saturday were like
Get
prime. Like you just sat in front of that TV. You'd watch the Grambling the Southern game. Like you would do everything. Battle of the bands. Like it was.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
awesome.
That is a
That's
great
awesome.
weekend.
Yeah. It was great.
It reminds me, LSU Arkansas was always on this day.
Yep. I like the change though. I think I like the LSU A&M game.
Yeah, me
more.
too. The Iron Bowl was played on this day for a long time.
Yep.
This is a good sports day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is a good day to.
Well, because Thanksgiving gets all the
You're happy
shine,
you're
but
off of work, like,
that's
it's
what I was
just-
saying. It's like
yeah.
a little treat that
Yeah.
I never really. I guess I'm trying to think. Maybe it was because LSU Arkansas over the years. I was just always going to that game, so I didn't realize a lot was going on. But
Also, I used to
Iron
go to that
Bowl
game
for
too.
sure.
I went to the game in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Ugh.
When we lost. Remember when Brad Wing hit the TV?
He hit the wire.
The wire.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Brad Wing never shanks punts. And then it hit the wire, and it was such a shitty freaking stadium.
It was.
God, it's always cold there.
It's a miserable game.
For this game,
Is
and
that-
we drove the RV, we drove the party box. That
Oh
was
my
like,
God, it's
one
gotta
of
be
the-
last trips.
That was one of the last trips. That was 2010. I was in college. One of the last trips the party box made. Slept there, didn't shower for 2 days.
Woo!
The whole deal, bro. It was great, and then we lost.
You don't realize that you don't shower on the party box. So that I went out that night. We went to Georgia.
We had a guy. Listen to this. We had a guy. So we had the spot for the RV, right? And it was actually a really good spot. And like we're at the bottom of the hill. At the top of the hill was a Target or a Walmart. And so we're down there and we're partying. We're watching the games and we're whatever.
Cooking, doing the thing.
Dude, we have this guy, this homeless guy, and he shows up. Remember Rackham Willie?
Yes, racquetball.
Yeah.
This guy sounded just like him, so we had him saying the Rackham, and dude, he told us he had gotten shot in his butt, and this man pulls his pants down and shows us the bullet hole in his ass about his thing. So then my cousin, we're
It is
hammered.
Racquetball.
Yeah, and we're hammered, and we're like, man, we don't have any more beer. We need to go up to Walmart, but it was uphill, and we didn't want to carry the stuff down. And so my cousin was like, hey, let's get Rackham. We'll go get him. And so he gives him $100. He goes, hey, go get as many cases you can for $100, or go give me like 6 cases. If there's any change, you can keep the change. Dude, he goes on for 45 minutes. We're like, man, this guy stole your money, bro. There's no way he's coming back. 2 minutes later, we see this guy on the cart coming downhill, no feet on the ground, with the cases of beer in his thing. I'm like,
sparks coming off that thing.
Like, oh my god, this guy just did it, and like he was so happy that we would just give him. He hung out with us the whole night. It was awesome.
Never hit his
Right,
brain
dude.
that he was like, dude, they just gave me $100.
Right,
He's like, oh, I
it
gotta go
was
do this
awesome.
errand
For
real
free.
quick. Yeah, I didn't have to do a thing. I could just walk toward Target for $100.
My buyout.
It was awesome. Awesome.
Have you seen the latest story on Ben Simmons?
Oh no, what happened?
No,
They say he's cash flow broke. They say that Ben Simmons
Jesus.
is
not liquid.
cash flow broke. Right, like he could turn around and sell. He's got a $17 million house. He's got 2 houses in Philadelphia worth a reported $8 million and $9 million.
Why do you have 2 in one city?
It's crazy.
Women.
They say he buys a new car every month at this rate that he's been going at, and like Bugattis and Ferraris.
Yeah, he's not getting a Camry.
I mean, he's not getting a Cherokee.
He's buying or leasing
And he is sitting out of basketball right now,
and having to pay them.
and he's hiring a team of doctors to get him mentally right to go back onto the floor while he is losing money night in night. He's losing
because he's not getting paid.
He's lost out.
Game checks.
He's lost out up to this point a reported $2 million.
Yeah, but if you are, like, he's still signed by the team. But if he's saying that I guess he's not using their doctors, that they don't have to pay him. Is that the deal?
Well, it's his choice not to be playing right now. Like, he's away from the team.
Yeah, but
right
if he's claiming like he needs to get his mental the part like could they use that as like, oh, he's, instead of being hurt, like he's using this as like it's a big thing.
That's why they're able to.
But he's not using their doctors.
Right, so that's why they can.
Okay, that's
find him essentially game checks because
they're refusing their.
He's refusing their service, but getting his own treatment. They said, "Look, we did all we could. If he doesn't want to play by our rules, we still have to find him." Is what I read. Okay. I didn't know that he was living that life.
Wow. It's crazy, man.
I guess we should have known though. That seems very on brand for Ben Simmons. Like going to Wimbledon, like doing all of these things that seem very expensive.
Here's the deal: just sell one of your $17 million houses. You're fine. The problem is he's trying to sell it,
and he's due another $100 million from Philadelphia. I mean, he's still making money.
But I mean, that just goes.
But he just has to play.
The future doesn't look good.
He has to play.
But to think that you're dealing with cash flow problems, making the amount of money that he could potentially be making present day, or the money that you would think that this is just his NBA contracts. Like, he's one of Nike's top players. He's Clutch Sports. LeBron and those guys are getting those. I mean, say what you want about the agency. All of those guys are making money.
Yep.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? All of those guys are getting paid.
Speaking of LeBron, I know this is a quick pivot, but you see him get those people kicked out. Those college kids kicked out the game.
I just think it's kind of like, it's kind of.
I don't know. She did the cry.
I don't know what they said to him.
I don't know that, but it pissed him off.
Yeah, enough to where, hey, y'all get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
well, there's reported things that they said things about his kids and like kill yourself, stuff like that.
I get it.
And he was like, all right, y'all gotta go.
Yeah, I got it. I got someone kicked out of AAA game. I didn't specifically tell them, hey, these guys gotta go, but me and them were jawing back and forth in the outfield, and there's 4 of them, and I started walking towards the fence, and the usher was like, okay, y'all guys gotta get the fuck out of here. Y'all are done.
Wow.
You have.
I didn't ask him to. I was just going.
Right.
I was just
rogue.
Maybe instigating.
So this is coming from Howard Eskin, who is a sports radio host, a talk show host in Philadelphia. He hosts 94 WHIP, Fox 29 TV. He's got the howardeskin.com. He's on Twitter. He's got about 136,000 followers on
Howard.
Twitter.
He's a guy.
Says yesterday, I was told by somebody very reliable that Ben Simmons may be tapped out, broke. This is on Tuesday's show. Cash flow broke because he's losing so much money, but he's spent so much money. $17.5 million home. Remember, he has to pay taxes too. $17.5 million home. He's got 2 homes in Philadelphia, probably worth $8 or $9 million a piece. He buys a new car every month, $400,000 or $500,000. He spends money like it's just not going to ever end. And the person that told me that is very reliable and says he's got cash flow issues. Remember, this trip, he doesn't get paid for any games. So that's well over $2 million he's missing out on. He may have to come back. I don't want him back. Stay broke.
Oh my God.
I thought he was going to be out the whole year. Now he may have to come back just to get some cash.
Jesus.
Peak Philly, dude.
Jesus
Good.
Christ.
I'm glad you're poor. You've ruined our basketball team.
Sounds like you talked to like his financial advisor's assistant or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like someone that's like
Sister,
in
family.
the money deal.
Dude,
Man.
imagine being his financial advisor. It's so entourage.
probably-
It's like, you can't afford that house, Vince. I bought it anyway. Like, they don't
Right.
listen. When they don't listen, they're just not going to listen to you. Like, I'll just go make another movie. It's not how it works.
Yeah.
Simmons is tough to like. He really is. I mean,
But he wasn't liked here.
He was despised here.
I tried to like him.
Me too.
Me too.
I wanted to like
Me
him.
too.
I
I
really
like his
did.
game.
I loved his game.
But,
But his, you know what? And I don't think this is breaking news now, but I even wondered it when we were watching him play. He just doesn't love basketball. He just doesn't. He doesn't obsess over basketball. He doesn't care about basketball the way you would believe that a number 1 pick would.
now, keep going. Sorry.
I mean, I don't think that you have to be Michael Jordan passionate, Kobe Bryant passionate about your game to be successful. But I think that you have to have a piece of your heart in it. You have to have some love, some affection for the game if you're going to try and improve at it. I mean, if you think about Ben Simmons' game to where it was last year, he really hasn't improved since he left LSU.
Right.
I mean, it's really the same type of game.
He may have gotten worse.
The fact that guy has made all that money and still does not have a jump shot. Like, if you were to develop a jump shot, you might be the best player on the planet. Like, if you could pull up from 18 to 15 feet.
You didn't have to shoot threes.
And knock that down, you would be one of the most unguardable players in the world. And you are the best defensive player just because of your physical play. Just like rolling out of bed. Just by waking up, you could be the best defensive player in the NBA. If you put any work into it and you try to develop a consistent jump shot, you could be the best player in the world.
Yep.
You could have movies, TV, shoe, apparel, all that stuff that you're worried about right now, all that stuff you're chasing, the Ferraris and and the Kardashians, all that stuff you're worried about right now, if you just develop a jump shot, you wouldn't have to look like you're trying so hard to fit in there. They'd be calling you. You know what I mean? Like that to me is, and you can't teach that. And really, if you have to tell somebody that at, what's Simmons now, 23, 20, 22, 24 years old? I mean, he left LSU at 19. You know what I mean? He's been in the league, for 5 years? So let's say he's 24 years old. And if you're trying to explain to a 24, 25-year-old, he's 25. A 25-year-old that at this point in the game with $100 million in the bank or $100 million tied up in assets, bro, hang on for dear life.
Yeah.
Well,
hang on for dear life, man.
I mean, his story is easy to it's not confusing, right? You look at him and he's always been the best player on the court, not because of his work ethic, because of his skill set and size. Like, everything that he does is God-given. So in his mind, he's like, I don't really have to work out. I don't have to practice. I've always been able to show up and be pretty good. And when you look at NBA contracts, he doesn't care if he's the best player in the world. He's still getting paid like it.
Right.
So there's no incentive for him to really go and perfect his craft until, the piper comes calling. It'll be too late. But he's saying, I can strictly get by doing exactly what I'm doing right now. Like, why would I change anything? Look what it's gotten me.
No doubt. And I'll say this.
Stubborn.
I've played with guys in the baseball world that have not really liked baseball, right? They haven't, but they knew they were that good at baseball.
It's your job.
They treat it as their job. But what separates them from what Ben Simmons is doing is they love their teammates and love being with their guys. So they wanted to say, you know what, I don't. It's not necessarily that I love this. I know that I'm really good at it, and it's my job. But I love my guys that I'm with, and so I'm gonna do whatever I can so that to win for them.
Yeah.
And do stuff. It's not that he's like, I love baseball. I'm so passionate about it. It's just, hey, God gave me the ability to hit a baseball really, really far, and
you can make a good living doing it.
And I can have a lot of money, and I can do the things that I really like to do. But at the same time, I like being around my boys in the clubhouse. And when they win, I win. It's fun because they're having fun. So like, I'm gonna commit to them, not necessarily commit to baseball. That's the difference between not really liking it and not really giving a fuck, and as opposed to not really liking it, but hey, I'm a good dude, and I like my guys, and I want to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Tim Anderson has said that himself, the White Sox shortstop. He's like, I don't really like baseball. He goes, it takes forever, it's long, but I like hanging out with the guys, and I'm fucking good at it. Yeah.
And Anthony Rendon absolutely fucking hates baseball.
Yeah.
He doesn't like it. He's just so good at it.
Wow.
And but I think that goes into why he's good. Because he doesn't put so much he doesn't put so much pressure on himself to like perform every day. He just knows that, you know what, I'm gonna go out there today. This is what I'm good at. I'm gonna go there, and he doesn't put that added pressure. He doesn't overthink things. He's like, I'm just gonna go do it, and he works. Like,
it's a job for him.
There's a drill that we used to do when I was in Philly. There's a drill. So our hitting coach in Philly was the assistant hitting coach for the Nationals, and he'd have the pitcher machine on, and we'd be normal like distance in the cage, and it's coming in decent, and like you hit it. Well, you swing, you step up one more time. Get closer to the machine. You swing, you step up. You swing, you step up. So that's at one point you're like getting to the machine that's like 6 feet in front of you. And it's shooting the ball at 80 miles an hour. So like this ball's like, I mean, good luck. You know, you just have to, And so like it's hard. Like
Wow,
if you foul tip it,
You're pretty
you're like,
pumped.
yes, I did it. You know, then you go all the way back, and then by the time you get back to the home, but the normal distance is really slow. They said when Anthony Rendon would do that, and he was 6 feet from the pitcher machine, he was barreling balls up to right center field like no problem. And I was like, well,
He's just different.
That's
He's
just
different.
different. Like that's like I could sit here all day and like I could cheat to it and maybe get it, you know, but like he would just get there and just nice and calm and boom, 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 and he was I'm good and walk out. And it's like that's a special like that's I mean this ball's
God-given.
This ball is like you have no reaction time. And he's just
He's seeing
hammering.
it in slow
It's
motion.
crazy. It was crazy.
Chili says, Jordy, bro, how do you know what the guy is going through? We don't know this guy besides ball. I truly believe he just wants out of Philly. That's fine if he just wants out of Philly. I mean, how many superstars or how many players have you seen want out of their situation and
There's
go
a
by doing
professionalism you
it
have to do.
in a different way? I mean, this guy's not showing up to work. During training camp, he shows up, he's going through drills with a cell phone in his pocket. Doc Rivers tells him to get into a drill, and Ben Simmons tells him
He goes high
no.
school.
He says no to him. This is a professional athlete. This is Doc Rivers. This isn't, you know, I mean, whoever it was. I mean, it just, that doesn't matter. I mean, Simmons, his attitude when he was here at LSU, I mean, it was
Nonchalant.
it was contagious throughout that locker room. I mean, the fact that his team didn't play in the postseason is a
God, they were so good.
detriment
They had so much
to him.
talent.
They were really
Bro, Blakely was there
legitimate.
too, right?
Yes, Blakeney was there.
Blakeney. That's
Antonio.
I mean, Brandon Sampson's a pro.
yeah.
You know, I mean, they had players on that
Brandon
team
Sampson, I forgot.
that could go. And not to mention you had Ben Simmons. But Ben Simmons showed me everything I needed to know about Ben Simmons in that Oklahoma game. Being there that Saturday versus Buddy Hield.
Buddy took that spotlight from him.
When the chant started raining down from the student section, F you, Buddy. When Buddy started, I believe, 0 for 8.
Yeah, 0 for 8 from 3.
0 for 8 from 3, and then hit, I want to say, 11 straight.
Oh, I was there.
And he became unconscious after the FU Buddy
I love
started
that.
raining. Me too. I fell in love with
I
Buddy
love
Hield that day. When the Pelicans drafted him, I loved him. I mean, I was like, what a draft pick. And to see, because Simmons was the total opposite in that game. He started the game like the best player in college basketball. I mean, he was doing everything that day. He was like coming down, one-handed pass on fast breaks, finishing, dunking on people early in the game. And then the game got tight.
Mm-hmm.
And then the game got into those moments where it said, we're about to separate who is the big-time players and who thinks they're a big-time player. And Buddy Hield came out and was a superstar, and Ben Simmons passed up on the game-winning shot not once, but twice in the last 14 seconds of that game. And he wanted nothing to do with that game when it got real. When you find out where the dog's at, you know what I mean? Like, where are we going to find a play when we got to have a play? Because, look, everybody in the world is watching this game. Everybody in the college basketball world is watching this game. There is 13,000 people in this arena. People are dying to get in here. Everybody, there are pro scouts. Everybody's here, man. This is everything that you wanted in college basketball. Who's going to be the player? And Simmons ducked, ran, and could not be found in the last 5 minutes in that game, and specifically within the last minute where he had a chance to win it. When he touched that ball the second time, it was like a hot potato. I mean, it was like he was like, "Whoa, get that thing out of my hand, man! I don't want anything to do with this."
You know who wanted the smoke? You know who wanted the smoke for LSU? Tim Quarterman. He took the last shot.
Quarterman.
The quarterman.
Absolutely.
He
absolutely did.
Tim Quarterman's built for that moment.
He was absolutely. I'll take it.
I'll take it.
Give it to me.
Nobody else wanted built for that moment, but Tim Quarterman said, "I can't believe you passed that thing again. Give it to me." Old double nickels out there.
It was double nickel.
Played in black Air Force Ones.
Cody Boudreaux with the $5 donation. All right, the lady must be out of town. Dune and IMAX for 28 more days.
Well, I got extended.
Wore my boot up T-shirt, my Will
HBO
Wade T-shirt
is where
for
it's
Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cody.
Should we ask the chat any hot debates? Thanksgiving, I missed it, so I didn't. Our family doesn't do that though.
What?
We don't get into.
No, we don't.
People always talk about that at Thanksgiving though. We're like, oh, you got to watch out for this and that.
No,
You know,
I'll tell you-
family topics. Like we don't do any of that.
I'll tell you what I do get. I'll tell you what we do get. My family, and I love my family to death. My family, if they're listening, I love y'all. But you get you get the aunts and the uncles that you haven't seen in a really long time, and they show up there, and then you have the aunts and uncles that want to tell you, like if I'm playing baseball or if I'm on the show or doing whatever, they want to tell you what you need to do.
Oh,
You know, so they give you
a little advice.
their advice on, even though they've never played. And
Right.
But like, and that's not the close.
I've been
like,
meaning
that's
to tell you, Mikey.
That's not the close.
They
That's
choke
not,
up on 2 strikes.
that's not
on
the close.
bunting.
That's not the close. Like obviously the family, it's just the ones that you haven't seen. Like they're trying to make conversation. They're not meaning it in a bad way.
Yeah.
They're just trying to make conversation, but like they're trying to.
They're
I'm
trying
like,
to
hey, wait,
relate.
what are you going on with? Like, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense what you're saying to me.
But thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but
Happy
then
Thanksgiving.
you're stuck there talking for a long time,
Ugh.
longer than you want.
What's your get out? What's your like walk away? Like, oh, I'm going to do this. Like, I always feel like I have to plan my exit when I
I'm
get
gonna
stuck
get
in
a
a
drink.
Yeah, I got to get a drink.
Yeah, well, just because you know you don't not a big
Well, I
drinker.
mean, whenever the kid is there, it's always the kid is such an easy out.
It's like having a dog.
Have you seen Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me go ring.
Let
him.
me go find my wife.
Yeah.
Let me go find my wife.
Yeah, where's
Is Jordan here?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Let me go find him real quick for you.
Oh, thank God.
Wait
Well,
right here.
Sorry, my phone's ringing. What, your
He
phone?
pops
I don't
up
see
right
anybody
behind you,
on
like,
your
oh, you
phone.
son of a bitch. Yeah.
Put the phone up to the ear with nobody calling. Like, you're on your home screen. What do you?
Oh, I must have just hung up on him. I'm sorry. Let me call him back. That's my
Oh,
fault.
bitch, I can't
No
hear him.
service in here. Damn it.
So, Lincoln Riley?
Lincoln Riley.
Lincoln Riley?
Lincoln Riley.
We all on
Riley?
Lincoln Riley?
I am
Lincoln Riley.
interested in this conversation of people that are bad at their jobs. I mean, good at their jobs, but they hate them. Because I feel like it's always a sports-related conversation when you talk about Anthony Rendon. I wonder if there's people in their normal profession that are like, oh, I can't believe I'm an accountant, but I can do math like a wizard. Like, I hate this, but it's something that you were just born with and you have to do. Like, do musicians feel that way? Like, I hate playing the guitar and they just pick one up.
I don't
think so.
You?
I think there's a segment of them. I think just like you. I mean,
Yep.
you're in a locker room, and there's the guys that love it. There's the guys that are super passionate about it. Then there's the uber elite guys that may be a little checked out on
Right.
it. You know what I mean? I think I think the majority of the locker rooms. Think of Jamarcus Russell. You know what I mean? Jamarcus Russell had God-given talent that nobody has ever seen. He just didn't really love the game. You know what I mean? He didn't want to be there early. He didn't want to stay there late. He didn't want to watch film at home. He didn't want to do that stuff. But he had this God-given ability where people would be like, man, if you just embrace it just a little bit, you could be kind of, revolutionary, bro. I mean, you could be best to do it. But, I just don't think you can. If you have to tell people that, or if you have to ask people that, you can't teach people. You can't ask them to embrace that. It's tough
I get
to get
that.
somebody to
think
fall in love with it.
I just think as a musician, you have to have to be a successful musician, to be able to do that and say I'm not really good at this, so this is what I'm gonna do, even though I'm not that passionate about it. You have to be creative. You have to be creative to be a musician.
Yeah.
You have to be able to put the time in to say, okay, I have to write songs, I have to do this, I have to do that, and if you're not passionate about it, you're probably not writing songs, which means you may be really good at playing the guitar or piano or whatever you're doing, but if you're not writing the songs, but I think there are.
Yeah, it could be a part of a band.
Yeah. I think you wouldn't be the headliner for sure.
I watched, and I know I've referenced this before, but I mean, it was a great insight to super talents. I wasn't an Eagles fan. I'm not that wasn't my generation, but the Eagles documentary is by far and away one of the best documentaries I've ever seen because of the inside access that they give you. They bring you back to the real time of when they were going through the shit. And a lot of
who was on that team? Is that what T.O. and
No, the band.
No. The actual band, the Eagles band, Don Henley, Glenn Fry, all these, and as they were, and some of the background, not the background, but some of the other band members, there's this guy Bruce Feldman, or not Feldman, Don Felder. Don Felder is his name, and he wanted a little bit more. He wanted more shine. He wanted more attention. You know what I mean? And he was, they were explaining it. Glenn Fry was like, "Look, Don Felder's a great musician. He's a great guitarist, but he doesn't love it like me and Henley do.
Right.
he doesn't get it like me and Henley. And there's an understanding of that in the band. Like, I mean, there's just a different passion about it that you get at that uber elite level. You know what I mean? Like the NBA, Major League Baseball. I mean, that
sold out shows.
Right. Like, I mean, like, to me, you have to have a little bit of that. I mean, one thing that I will never debate about LeBron James is that that guy loves basketball.
Yep.
The guy worships the game. He went through a period of his life where he worshipped the game of basketball.
And he's the all-time talent. Yeah, for
and
sure.
Kobe Bryant.
That's what happens. But that's what happens.
Those are different. Kobe's a little different. You know what I mean? Like, Kobe, his obsessive compulsiveness was what made him really different. But, I mean...
But you look like LeBron James is what Ben Simmons should aspire to be. Like, look, we're blessed with this, like this body, this ability, this early. Like LeBron James, what happens if Ben Simmons worked?
Mm-hmm.
Like that would be an apt comparison. Maybe not as good, but you could be in this stratosphere of elite talent instead of maybe cash broke and need to liquidate some assets.
Yeah, I mean, you
That's
have
what hard work gets you.
I mean, that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
And I think like when you talk about people that want it and love it and grind for it, I think you saw that last night with Drew Brees coming on the field one more time. Like, I know we think some of his stuff may be a little staged or whatever, but when he came out and led the Who Dat chant last night before the game,
I didn't get to see it.
Dude, you have to. Yeah, you have to watch it.
It was great.
Like, you could see the visceral feel in his face. Like, I
He
wish I
loves
could
it.
fucking do this one more time.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
he was looking around.
Well,
and
that's probably what
soaking it all in.
keeps guys like him hanging on.
Yeah.
Is that, like, what am I going to do without this?
And then he
what am I going to how? Because I'll never be able
to play again.
I'll never be able to reach this type of high of what I do. There's like you'll never find the high of hitting a big time home run, making a big time catch in your life. There's nothing like I can't offer you that in podcasting. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we're gonna go through some cool shit.
Yeah.
We're gonna do some good stuff.
No doubt.
But we're never gonna hit a bottom of the ninth home run
In
to a
front of
packed
50,000
capacity stadium
people.
on national television.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to give that up, I would imagine is very scary to have the option to do that in my life and then totally have that option totally erased is
Not only
scary.
erased, but you have to watch it and talk about it when you're like, well,
Yeah.
this is what I would do.
but here's
And
Absolutely.
Get me out there.
That was a
Here's
tough
the-
spot for him last
It
night.
was.
Right, but here's the
That was
thing
a
though,
tough spot for him.
guys like him that are that good and have had that long of a career, like those are fun, right? Those moments are the moments that like you remember and you think about, but like those moments don't happen all the time. They happen once in a blue moon. They happen you're not put in that situation. But the other stuff, the injuries, the getting sacked, the having to go to practice every day, the day-to-day grind, like all of that stuff happens every single day. That's more frequent, right? So, and guys like him that are pretty in tune with themselves and like all the situations, because like you don't get to that point in your career unless you have a pretty good feel about
It's self-aware.
Yeah, and so I think what he says, like, damn, I miss this. Like, this is what I miss. I miss going out there at primetime games, like whatever. But I don't miss having to play New York Giants on noon
Thursday
on a Thursday night football game, and my shoulder's about to fall off, and I'm getting sacked because my offensive tackle is not playing, and it's just like
we have
those
15
things.
people.
And
in
so he
injury
weighs them
report.
in, but like that one moment takes precedent. Like, man, when that happens, like, damn, this is what I play for.
Yeah.
But then you look back, like, I'm 40. I can't do that
grind
shit all the
like
time.
that
Like,
anymore.
hey, if you could guarantee me that you want me to come and play, and you can guarantee me I'm going to have 4 or 5 moments like that, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But you can't guarantee that. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I mean, for me, he got out at the right time for sure.
Well,
You
no,
know,
his
like,
body failed him because I think he's one of the guys that loved the grind. Like, he loved waking up early, looking at film.
Yeah.
He loved all that one to finish first and all of the sprints. Like, he was uber competitive, but I think his body just broke down, and he feels like mentally he can still do it 100%.
Well, that's what calling games gives them.
Right. It gives you that little
It gives them. That's why
I thought he was pretty good.
he's gotten way better.
He's gotten a lot better, and that's a tough spot to call the Saints game for him because he's got a lot of friendships in that locker room. Forget like
he did a good job
knowing people. Like, I mean, there's a lot of times in that job you got to call people out, and especially when you're calling a bad team. And the Saints aren't that good right now.
Right.
I mean,
He is focusing on the quarterback.
They
He's
don't do
locked
a
in
lot
on
of
the
good
Saints quarterback
things.
play.
But
yeah,
I'll
that's
tell
a
you-
tough spot for Simeon.
I'll
You know
tell
what I
you-
mean? I mean,
I'll
that's
tell you what he
Picasso
did do.
breaking down your
Yeah.
painting.
Right. And I'm finger painting. He's like,
Like, this is the offense. This is the offense.
I don't know what he's looking at here.
He knows
Should've
the
done
offense.
that.
He knows the offense just as good, or maybe even better than Sean Payton.
Absolutely.
And so, like, But I'll tell you what, he did do a really good job of like not making it so pro Saints. You know, like he did a good job analyzing. What I really liked was him analyzing what he would do with the play, or like what Sean was thinking.
Yeah, that's
when
right.
he called the play.
That's right.
That's what he started.
That's what I thought the Mannings were trying to get him into a couple of weeks ago, and he wouldn't bite.
But what he did last night,
and I think somebody in the
damn.
meantime told him, was like, Drew, that's what your specialty is. That's the inside information
Be a nerd.
people are looking for. Tell people what y'all are looking at. What was the scenario?
And he did it last night, and I'm like, man, that is really cool to hear.
I agree.
I think he was a little bit delayed on the ManningCast, so whenever he would start going, the play was already over, and he was like, I'm lost. Like, I'm 2 seconds behind.
But you had a lot of football, like, analytics in there. I mean, it felt like if one person went in, you could have gotten a total nerd out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you could have looked up and like 2 hours later.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're like,
Yeah,
spread
football
right.
overload,
You know what I mean? Like,
Kept studying
roll
for
the
a final,
pocket, move his launch point. You know what I mean? Go get more drugs, man. Let's talk about this more.
One more time. But he did, to your point, like, I think his best call was, I think it was the 2-point conversion where Simeon threw it out the back of the end zone.
The 2-point conversion.
Where they're 0 for
dude,
10.
Good Lord.
But he was like, I think it was 84. I don't know if it was little Jordan Humphrey or somebody else, but it was Trevor Simeon escaping right. And he broke to the back pylon, and he goes, when you have wide receivers that you've worked with a ton, or a quarterback that you've worked with a lot, he was supposed to come back to the inside, will not scramble right, and that's where he would have been open. But neither one of them have worked together enough to know that, don't go back pylon, I can't make that throw. And he goes, that's minutia in a Sean Payton offense, is you're breaking off and you're coming back to me. And he's like, that things that you just have to work on. And it was just a jewel.
For me, that one, and for me, the one that like sticks out in my head is when Simeon dropped back and he got sacked from the backside from the left tackle.
Yes, that's vintage him stepping up.
He said
the 10 yards.
The 10 yards.
Yeah.
He said he dropped back and he finished his drop 10 yards. He goes, I feel like that's a little deep. He needs to be about 8.5 to 9 yards in the pocket. He goes, because as an offensive tackle, that's where you're supposed to, like, that's what you're assuming your quarterback is. Yeah. It's too hard to get to that deep. I was like, man,
wow,
like that's a half yard.
And you think about how many times he would just simply step up,
just because he knew,
or just slide step, and the field would just become wide open.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It was like stuff like that.
I thought that was great insight because he was kind of like. You're kind of like, damn it, Teron Armstead.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And he's kind of like, well, that's a tough spot for the left tackle. And you're like, oh, okay, all right. Damn you, Trevor Simeon.
Right. Because he says, like, damn, that makes a lot of sense. It does. And then when people were like, some guy on Twitter last night was like, he showed the clip of like the snap on the 4th down when like the center snapped it too early, and nobody on the left side of the line was ready to go. And he puts the clip, and he was like, watch Teron Armstead on this 4th and 2. And he snaps it, and he obviously snapped it early. It wasn't the right snap count. And he didn't move, and like he blamed Teron. I'm like, the whole left side, first of all, didn't move.
Right.
Second of all, like obviously there was a mistake. Like it wasn't his fault. Like the center snapped it early. Like, be better at fucking doing your job, man. Like, come on, dude.
I would never ask this to Sean Payton because I think he would punch me in the face. And I would never ask this of a professional athlete. But does y'all think that Sean Payton is tanking?
No.
It might be after last night.
I don't think
he's trying to get. You think he's trying to get? You think he's trying to get Stingley?
I don't think he's tanking. I don't think he would. And look, I think Stingley's the top. I don't think he would tank for Stingley
because I think he's going to get Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but
because I think he's so pissed.
If you're going to get Aaron Rodgers,
he's so you can tell the quarterback.
Oh, it's grinding his gears.
I mean,
he doesn't trust anything he calls.
No, he does not. He does not.
Especially without Alvin Kamara. If you can get a guy like that,
if you're going to tank, I don't think you. And look.
They don't have players.
I know, but
they don't have players right now. Right now,
Stingley,
like Mike Thomas, Kamara, Ramczyk. I mean, those guys are
Pro Bowlers, all Pro Bowlers.
Man.
But you have Stingley, right? Stingley's a top 5 pick, maybe top 2 pick, right, in this draft, and like he's a changer. But if you're trying, you okay?
I don't know what's happening. I think I'm okay.
If you're trying to get, if you're going to go make a push for Rodgers, and you're trying to get, I think if you're going to tank, you're going to tank for like a top end like offensive player,
They need a wide receiver.
That's what I mean. They're going to tank for that.
I mean, look who's out there. I was watching the game last night. And there's nobody I feel comfortable catching the ball now.
I will say this though. Now they say, okay, maybe
Jesus,
I don't know what.
Maybe you should have gone Thanksgiving or something. Jeez, staying at home too long, too much relief med stuff. Yeah,
either pass it or put it out.
I eat my greens.
But yeah, so I think that like if you do say you do get Stingley and you solidify that, make that defense even better, and you go say, hey, A-Raj, bro, we're gonna get you, and you're gonna be writing our meetings for signing guys, and we're gonna say, hey, you know what, we're gonna go, we're gonna be collegey, we're gonna go there,
Yeah, we're
gonna go, and you're gonna go fucking recruit guys like Tom Brady does, and we're gonna create this team, and you're gonna win 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah, or at least we'll play for them.
They don't have any money to sign anybody.
Yeah, but just get rid of it. Trade them. Trade people.
Yeah, I think that you got people on the block now, man.
Trade
I mean,
people. Because
did you see what Sean Payton said after the game? I mean, he's like, we're going to have to start evaluating how we're doing things and with who we're doing them with.
That's what he's really
You know what I mean? Like, he's like, who can we get rid of?
Yeah.
I don't think he's tanking. I
don't either.
And this is me. Look,
And I would never ask him that.
No, of course. And this is me.
would
Like,
never.
Dude, if you thought
Oh my
Cat
God,
Terrell got it
dude.
bad, he would look at you.
Hey, Coach Jordy Culotta from the Jordy Culotta Show.
First time here.
First time, long time.
long time listener, first time caller.
Right.
You take it, bro.
We got a theory on our show. You're taking for Derek Stingley. What's your response?
Who the fuck is?
I'm
Derek
gonna
Stingley?
kill you.
That's what I would say. Who's
We do
Derek
our
Stingley?
we do our recruiting after the draft.
No, I mean, look, he's a Hall of Fame coach.
Yes.
No doubt.
You don't tank.
First ballot.
Yeah, you don't tank. Like he may in his back of his mind may say, man, it's probably smart for me to, but you have 5 wins. It's too late to tank.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Or
They're
is
still in the hunt.
Or is it?
Yeah.
you have 5 wins. Like, what are you gonna do? Tank? Are you gonna be worse than the like? If you're gonna tank, you means you're gonna get the first 2 picks. You're
Bro,
not gonna
how
get the
bad
first
are
2
the
picks.
Lions?
That's what I
Did
mean.
anybody watch that game?
I bet on it.
Hey, they
You
could
bet on that game? What was the bet?
I took the Lions
What
when
was
they were
the
catching
spread?
3. They
You
covered.
got it.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, they should have won 4 games this
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Their coaching is bad. Did you see him
Did
get
you-
penalized for the back-to-back timeouts?
The end of the game,
Oh,
both
that
of
was
them.
that was some Les
Les
Miles
Miles
shit,
shit.
dude.
year. Dan
I mean,
Campbell's got to be fired.
I
huh?
mean, when
No.
Dan Campbell, he didn't know what
To do.
rule he broke.
broke.
He was like, "What's the call? What's the call?" And you could tell the referee like got in his ear was like, "You called back-to-back timeouts. You can't do." And his shoulders are just like,
And did you hear when they brought in? I think it was Gene Sessator. He was like,
Yeah.
"Dude, the umpire will ignore you if you try to call 2
Yeah, he was
timeouts
like-
unless you're adamant about
Yeah,
it." And
he
he's
was
like,
like-
"Bro, you can't do that." It's like, "Oh, fuck you! I'm calling a timeout." And he's like, "I'll throw a flag."
yeah, he was like,
What
the referees are taught to ignore the request unless the coach is like really adamant. He's like,
Yeah, but
"Coach, you're breaking the rules. You're gonna get a
I don't
flag."
give a fuck.
I want the timeout.
That tells me that man, more coaches do that than you think.
Right.
If he had to come out and say, "Hey, you ignore that," that means
What,
it
don't
happens.
know the rules?
Well, no, that tries to double time
Yeah.
out. Like more coaches call that.
Well, I think because they don't know the rules.
Right.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
though.
And
yeah,
the
yeah,
but
yeah,
referees have their
right.
back.
But you
They're
would
like,
think,
"Dude, don't do that."
how do you not know that? But
We're
like,
on
dude,
national
think-
TV, bro. This is
It's the height
Thanksgiving.
of embarrassment.
Also, how bad were the referees yesterday?
Dude, the Dallas
The
and
Cowboys
Las Vegas
game.
game was
26
unwatchable.
flags, bro.
It was unwatchable.
Why'd they do that?
I don't know why they
Because
did
it's their
that.
time. Their time to shine.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they've got to have a call from before the game, or at least a meeting before the season, and say, "Fellas, we never want to get in a situation where the story's about us."
Well, here's the deal: is they have. I've been listening to a bunch of the podcasts I listen to. They have a bunch of these referees that are retired, right? Like the guys that are on TV now, and that were like the OG referees that were like there for 20-something years. Like the guy who's used to say
Gene Sessator.
that guy, and then the other.
Yeah.
I think it's Sterator.
Sterator.
And I think there's a couple other
Just
guys,
Gene to
right?
me.
And so they get on these podcasts and they open up a little bit more than they would on TV. And he's like, "Yeah, the referees have been terrible." He goes, "There's no, they do things they don't do it the same way that we used to do it. They don't have as much pride. They don't have as, and they just it's all about them and all this." I'm like, this is a referee talking about other referees, and I'm like, holy shit, like.
It's worse
This
than we
is not,
think.
yeah. This is not good. If he's going to saying that stuff about his colleagues, like we need to figure some stuff out. And Sean Payton's right. They need to hire these guys full time.
Definitely.
It needs to be This is the NFL is too big of a business.
You're making too much money.
Yes,
man.
too
Come
big of a
on.
business for you not to be a full time.
And it's so the games are so contingent on what these referees do.
And
They
it
need
also,
to be
It closes off these discussions.
Yep.
right.
Like, I mean, come on.
I don't want to watch a game with
I mean,
26 penalties. I don't know if they were trying to stretch the game out a little bit because it wasn't going to line up right, so they wanted to cover every window. And if that's like an NFL thing, like, look, there's some penalties, we got some ads in
No.
here, because they can call a penalty whenever
Yeah,
they want.
yeah,
It is the most subjective thing I've ever seen that influences
I mean,
sports
some
this
of those
much.
PIs.
It's unbelievable.
They're
That
terrible.
poor
It's
guy
just
got caught
Brown,
with 4 of them.
number 30?
Dude, on the last one, he goes, "I'm cut." Like, you could see it in his face. Like,
Yeah,
I ain't
he's
going to be
like,
here tomorrow.
damn.
yeah, but those
dude.
ones. But like, didn't he get called one on the interception?
Yep. He got called 2 on really like big play, like a sack and like. I mean, 2 of the PIs
Worst
were
day at work ever.
worst. But
playing defensive back has to be the hardest job in sports.
There's a pass interference on every play.
Well, you could call it on every play.
Holding and pass interference. That's what I'm saying. They can manufacture.
Being a cornerback is the hardest position in all sports.
And then you have to. The people in the booth have to be like, "Oh, look, a little bit of a hold there." It's like, yeah, it's in 2 times slow motion. It's of course you could find anything you want. They really have to go to bat for these officials sometimes.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's not the case, dude. Like, just sack up and be like, "Look, this is bad." It's been bad for the last, 2 years.
It's been bad for a long time.
It's been really bad this year. And it takes out the flow of the game. It makes it no fun to watch.
It does kill the whole flow.
It does. And it's something that needs to be, there needs to be a serious
focus on this.
Change. Yeah.
Because how many times do you watch a game, see a touchdown, and look at the scoreboard, and you're like, I'm just waiting for a flag.
Yeah,
I'm looking for something other than celebrating.
You could hear it in Nance's voice. And another flag on the it got to a point where
Nance isn't going to make his tea time.
He knew this was becoming unwatchable.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, Tony, we got to tell some stories to save the listeners.
Yeah, there's too much downtime.
Yeah, it's a baseball game.
Tell us something, and that's not Romo's best.
Just telling stories.
He needs the game.
He needs to be talking about the game. Like when Nance was trying to set him up, what were some of your hot calls? You know what I mean?
Dance.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, God, dude.
You don't get what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to let you bring people into the
mind of a quarterback.
Tell them the huddle. Tell them what you're looking at. How did you do that? And he was like. And even Nance's like, all
right, 3rd and 4.
Yeah, right. You didn't get my joke. Yeah. All right, next play, Tony.
They don't have a great back and forth.
They don't.
And they should. They're both very good at their job.
Right.
The Romo, I think he got too hot too fast. People are all over him for how he called games, and now he might be fodder for the internet.
He still does. It's
a great job.
He still does the Romo thing, though, man.
No, he's super smart within the game, but there's more to it than the in-game stuff. You have to be able to have a rapport with the guy and be able to have a conversation with him to where it's not feeling like I feel like you're sitting on the couch going back and forth, because the hard part is what Nance does.
Mm-hmm.
Is being able to direct
Just keep it moving.
Yeah,
set
right.
The scene.
But for Tony, Tony should be able to sit next to, be like, hey, we're on the couch, we're hanging out, we're watching the game, and I'm just talking to you about what's going on, and then oh man, I remember when I was playing for Dallas, this would happen, and just give a funny story that relates to it, and then you go, and it's I'm not that's a hard job. I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm just saying, as a listener, as someone watching the game, that's what you want to hear.
If you notice it, it's probably not good.
Right.
If you can notice the dead air and the
I'm
dead
not saying
timing,
by any means I would be able to do better.
But I mean, it's Tony Romo, who played for the Cowboys, who's playing on Thanksgiving on a Thanksgiving call. This should be easy.
It's a layup.
That should be a layup.
That's a layup.
And I think they kind of screwed him with the officials did with
the officials
penalties and everything. It just made the job that much harder, made it that much longer for him. They just want to go home. And then you had. Who was in the other game? Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, and he got his double doink joke in, and then he didn't say anything for 3 plays. He was just laughing at himself. And just when the guy snapped the ball into his own nuts, did you see this? Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, that's the real double doink," and everybody kind of laughed.
But that's great.
Yeah, and then Troy Aikman didn't say anything for probably 3 plays, and he was just laughing to himself.
I think
people are probably in his ear,
nice.
Yeah.
in my head, in my opinion, that's my favorite combo.
Yeah.
Of NFL football. There's Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, in my opinion.
I don't
know. I don't know why there's this contingency of people that, is that the right word? Contingency.
What?
Nice. I'm trying to expand.
Word a day, dude. Word a day.
Expand my vocabulary. I don't know why there's a contingency of people that don't like Joe Buck. Joe Buck's fucking good at his job.
Well, dude, anytime you're in that role, there's gonna be a section of people that just don't like you.
Yeah,
for no reason.
For no reason, they don't like the sound of your voice. They don't like the way you laugh. They don't like the way you dress. Anything.
During
they just don't like
his 3rd down call, and it's like, what? You were focusing on 1 down about the guy?
During baseball's playoffs, Joe Buck that shows me how good he is, because he goes from calling Wednesday night playoff baseball game, maybe game 7, height, whatever, to flying a Thursday night football, to do a primetime game, to doing baseball on Friday, to flying to do football on Sunday.
It's a cool gig.
You're going baseball, football, and you don't miss a beat, and that's hard.
Is he putting together his own production sheets at this point? Do you think somebody does it for him and he just reads them? Because a lot of those guys take pride in putting together their call sheet, essentially.
I think he's so deep into the game that
he can't know that much.
He knows a lot.
I know.
Well, I mean, a lot of the games that he calls is a lot of the same
people. Primetime games.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
Well, he's getting the big
He's
ones.
calling a lot of Aaron Rodgers. He's calling a lot of Dak Prescott. He's calling a lot of Patrick Mahomes. He's calling a lot of those games. Tom Brady. So I mean, he's gonna
and with
be
baseball,
very.
Thank God. I know all the Brady stories.
Well, and with baseball, he's calling
into a series.
Well, he's calling the one series, right?
Yeah.
So like, there's not much new unless something happened, but there's not. You don't have to learn about different players because you're calling the same games.
And the thing to me that makes Buck so great at what he does is that he lets a lot of the moments tell the stories rather than him trying to talk over the moments.
It's old school.
I mean, if you kind of see a lot of like home runs, he won't say anything
He'll let it go.
until the guy's like at third base. You know what I mean? Like after the shot, I mean, he'll let you hear the crack of the bat.
Love that.
He'll let you hear the crowd. He'll let you get some of that reaction, and then he'll kind of drop in with a Matuk big slam over the right foot. You know what I mean? Like, I mean,
Damn, you gave me an Oppo taco.
Yeah,
Sam. I love that. Appreciate that.
yeah,
Thank
no
you.
doubt, bro.
Makes it
Always looking out.
7-1.
So I'll sign that Boston contract, and I'll be up on the first flight. Daily, we're brought to you by GoFlow IV, GEAUX, FlowIV.com. Remember, get in touch with them about if you're suffering from chronic dehydration, chronic illness, if you're looking for illness recovery, if you've been down over the last couple of days, fresher, stop it and see our friends over at GoFlow IV, GEAUX, FlowIV.com, Baton Rouge's premier medical spa specializing in IV hydration treatments with vitamin infusion. Online, GoFlowIV.com, GEAUX, FlowIV.com. Appreciate you spending this Friday with us here. Make sure that you hit the like, share, comment button. Please just give us a little interaction while you're here.
Well, that's 2 hours of not having any guests, and I didn't even feel like 2 hours. That was nice right there. That was a lot of
flyby.
A lot of Thanksgiving got me ready to talk.
Looking forward to getting into Tiger Stadium tomorrow night.
I mean, I had so much to say. I didn't talk to anybody for 2 days. I've just been holed up, dude. I didn't do a thing. It was unbelievable.
How'd your girlfriend let you slide through that one?
But she has her family, so she was concerned about doing double. So she was like, "Oh no, I only have to
you
do
gave her-
one."
you
So
gave
I
her-
gave her
good.
reprieve also.
Yeah, wow.
And that's an easy conversation.
Yeah, but they're the same. She's in Alexandria though.
Yeah.
So like the two is at least in the same city.
Oh yeah, it would have been easy.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Going from
yeah.
going Lafayette to
They
Alexandria
live
same
right
day
next
stuff.
door to each other too, man.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, jeez. Like,
Wow.
okay.
I had to work. What do you want from me?
What do you want me to do?
I was on call. Is how I put it.
Where do y'all do y'all's?
Well, our family was
Where
a
do
little
you do
spread.
Thanksgiving?
Our family was a little spread out this year, but we usually do just the grandparents and have everybody over. But this year, everybody was kind of spread, and I just was at Kelly's place. I was at Kelly's
That's right. You
family,
did Kelly's this year. You told us
which was easy. And it was
Yeah.
very
First
Chill,
one.
laid
chill.
back.
Not the first holiday, first Thanksgiving.
Yeah. What do they have a specific is there a holiday that they go all out on? Like my uncle Robbie loves Thanksgiving, so that's his deal. Christmas for the Matuks is like not great. Like we don't do a big Christmas thing. But some people do that.
Blow it out.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't. Do they have a?
I don't know if they do. Ours is usually a Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we usually have the big tree at my grandparents' house where everybody comes in on.
They light it all together as like an event.
Yeah, it's like or more of the decorating process is the event.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
like
everybody's
the
over
moment,
there.
yeah.
Everybody's over there, kind of decorating the tree.
You look at old ornaments, like, oh, remember
Yeah.
We
this
used
was
to do
a
that-
picture of
we
you in
used
second
to-
grade. You're like, oh,
We used to do that at my uncle.
Let me see that.
My uncle, like my grandparents' old house, we call it the big house. This is like another type of mafia deal. The house is called the big house. My uncle Ronnie, who at the time was not married, my aunt Carolyn, his sister, was not married. They both lived at the house, and that's where everybody went. And there was this huge living room, and the same thing, like parties. It's a big tree, dude. There's multiple times we're younger, and we're running, and we're throwing the ball in the house. And I'm talking about this tree is 15, I guess, huge.
Sure.
And bro, this tree just tips.
No.
Multiple times, bro. We've done it before. It's like,
Wow.
and my aunt Carolyn, she's awesome, but
Not that cool.
she flips the switch, and I'm like, oh no,
We're in trouble.
To the point where she's on this side of the couch, I'm on the corner, and she's walking, I'm walking. I'm keeping my distance, I'm not in the
Steering wheel
way.
tinted
Yeah.
Sweat coming down the face and throwing the football in the house.
Yeah,
You been playing ball? It wasn't me.
Lance Beal, this is the positives of having a lawyer on staff. Lance Beal, our attorney, he said, "You mean contingent, plural now, contingency, group of people united by some common feature forming part of a larger group."
I knew I was wrong.
A contingency is a plural noun.
Yes, see, I knew it.
Future event or circumstance which is a possible but cannot be predicted with certainty.
Thank you,
You have
thank you,
a
Lance.
contingency plan, and you have a contingent that can plan your contingency plan.
Okay,
That's right.
Contingent.
Yes.
Contingent.
Okay, see, I knew it didn't sound right.
Do y'all know like nouns, adverbs, verbs, things like that? Like I couldn't tell
Don't put me on
any
the
of
spot.
those things. Like what
Come
he
on.
just said.
I mean, noun
I
is
know,
a person,
yeah.
place, or
Your
thing.
Duh.
Don't ask me. Duh.
Adjective makes things sound better. So like,
Right.
you add it in front of.
A whopping home
Delicious.
run.
Yes.
Delicious.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good.
We're out on an island right now, boys. We're on the plank here.
We're about to lose
I
live
mean,
credibility.
this is
Well,
dangerous.
Again, caveat:
This is dangerous.
we're not journalists.
This is dangerous, boys.
We did not go to
Adverb
journalism
into
school.
LY.
This
Just
is
talk.
dangerous.
For the most part.
Verbs in action, so an
Wow.
adverb would be like a specific action.
I think it modifies the action. I'm really not sure. It ends in ly.
Jordan
That's-
Peck's
that's the
keeping his
rule.
head down over there.
You are.
That's right.
You gave us. You put
Yeah,
us
he's
in a
sleeping
hole
over
right
there.
here. I don't know.
Well,
what to
dude,
do.
I only brought it up because I like wrote for a long time for.
Oh, you're better. You're better than we are.
No,
then.
I don't know any of the rules. Like
Sweet.
to the point where,
That's my author.
yeah, but I know what sounds good. Like I'm like, all right, this is what I've seen. Like I've read before. This is what words people use in these spots. But when somebody would try to be like, look, you need to put
Well, that's
this
why you have an editor
modifies
for.
what. We did not have an editor at Northwestern State. But whenever you put like, other people would look at it and they'd be like, all right, you need to do this.
Wait, you
here."
went to
Like,
Northwestern State?
for graduate school.
Oh, great. Okay. Good.
Yeah, I worked at Sports Information, so
got you.
churned out some articles.
You're probably there with my buddy. Played football there.
And what's his name?
Tucker.
Tucker.
Mims?
He was right before me. I know Tucker very well, though.
I know. I'm sure you do.
Left
you
a
do.
legacy.
So, yes,
Yeah.
he might make his way
What
back
about,
for the old.
what about Tucker's dad? You know Tucker's dad?
I don't know Tucker's
Ooh,
dad.
that's-
Imagine a large man, though.
He's very tall. He's taller, but he's leaner. He's Kramer from Seinfeld.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Tucker found love in
is-
a hopeless place.
Is Walker Howard back in town tonight? Are they in town playing
I don't know.
St. Thomas More?
Oh no, they're in Homa.
They're in Homa.
Homa.
Edie White.
Mhm.
And then Zachary and West Monroe play tonight,
Yep.
which is a big one in high school football.
Is that Eli?
That is Eli Holstein,
A&M commit?
A&M commit.
Eli Holstein.
And
So do you think he stays in town and comes to Baton Rouge?
Who?
Eli?
Why?
Just for the A&M LSU game?
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
for sure.
Oh, I thought you meant like come to school here. I was like,
No,
what do you
I
mean?
think
Sure.
he is good with Jimbo.
Yeah.
He does man alive.
Well, I mean, it depends on if Jimbo's the next coach.
That's the line I was trying to draw.
What happens? What happens if they announce Jimbo on
Oh
Sunday?
my God.
And Eli's there. Walker Howard's there. You have two of
Oh, y'all are
Louisiana's
just,
top quarterbacks. At
Why
the
are y'all
game.
doing these to the people, man? Why are y'all doing this to people?
If it's Jimbo, will people freak out?
It's
Yeah.
not Jimbo.
For sure.
He's
not.
Well, the
It's Lincoln Riley. We just made the decision. It's Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, we've been on Lincoln Riley. It's
I know
Lincoln.
that, but I was just gonna say, look at the coaches that haven't signed extensions.
Jimbo has.
That was previous though.
Yeah, but it
that was
doesn't matter.
before the year. I'm talking about now.
How
like
much
the-
more of it could he sign?
I
Till
don't
he
know.
dies?
But I think that Jimmy Sexton he's well versed enough in this game to say, hey, look,
There's a contingency
Ogeron
plan.
ain't gonna make it, buddy. So we're about to take Texas A&M
And them to
back to
task.
Texas. Yeah, we're gonna squeeze a couple more million and a couple more years out of them, because we can paint the Woodward relationship, your love for Baton Rouge and LSU.
Get a couple press conferences in.
Yeah, man.
I'm sure the A&M brass, they see Sextons and we're like, God damn it, what now? Like, how are you calling this early? What happened? Well, LSU's gonna fire the coach, so you got to re-up me. Okay.
Thank you, Lance Beal.
Thank
Carl
you.
Dunn says Catholic versus St. Paul's at home tonight. That should be a good one. Stanley Reed, Jordy, do you feel that if Woodward hires Stoops, that the process is a failure?
Yes.
We give him a lot of credit. Yes, Stanley Reed, I do. I think that Bill O'Brien, Mark Stoops, names like that would, while I still believe that, it is my sentiment that I believe in Scott Woodward. I trust Scott Woodward. I know that he's got LSU's best interest at heart when he makes a decision for the university. I think that he would lose some credibility, much credibility, if he introduced Mark Stoops or Bill O'Brien in front of a podium of press in the next 72 hours. I've got to believe that Woodward, after who we believe him to be, and really kind of who he is, the Kim Mulkeys, the Jay Johnsons, the Jimbo Fishers, the Buzz Williams, the Chris Petersons of the world, the LSU football job and the hiring process to Scott Woodward is a lifelong professional goal or obstacle, however you want to look at it. And I think one that he has been really getting ready for a long time. And I've painted this picture and I've told this story. I feel like 1,000 times on this show, but He is from Baton Rouge, Scott Woodward. He worked at LSU in the early 2000s when he saw what LSU football could mean to the state when it was successfully run. He left LSU with the intentions of always coming back to Baton Rouge and knew in the back of his mind that if he got and when he got back to Baton Rouge, at some point he was going to have to make the football hire. And he knew he wasn't going to have multiple tries at that. It was only really going to be one that he was going to be judged on. And this is it. Here we are. We're within 48 hours of hearing who Scott Woodward believes that guy to be. And I just can't believe in the buildup and before the announcement that it would be somebody. And I'm not trying to discredit Mark Stoops because he's done a phenomenal job at Kentucky. He has made Kentucky football respectable and a bit of an interest piece for people outside of Lexington. But he doesn't feel like he fits at LSU. Bill O'Brien did a lot of good things at Penn State. Working with Tom Brady on his resume is impressive. Him in Baton Rouge at LSU does not feel like the fit, does not feel like the guy. Now, if there is a name off the board or somebody that we haven't been talking about in this process, that would make a lot of sense because that's kind of how Scott Woodward operates. I just believe that he is a big game guy. He likes to go after those big names, but it's not just to get the big name. He wants the big name that's credible and that it can come in and win. And all signs, to me, point to Lincoln Riley. And, I think.
Are you okay with the risk of possibly every year just saying, oh, is Lincoln Riley going to the NFL? Is Lincoln Riley going to go to the NFL? And have the chance of the Nick Saban thing happening again?
I mean, it would become annoying, but I think,
it means you're successful, though.
It does
no
mean
doubt.
It does mean that you are successful. And, look, I'd imagine that this contract is going to be, it's going to be tough to
get out of it.
It's going to be tough to wiggle away whoever's next, in this role.
And don't you think them flirting the Lincoln Riley name even out there, doesn't that set you up for failure if it's not him? Because that's the biggest name. Like in the beginning of this, I wouldn't even think that was on the board. Like that would be something like, oh, if you could get Lincoln Riley to Baton Rouge, and now it's become so real. It feels like if you announce anybody other than that, it feels like a step down.
I not necessarily believe that. I do, like I said, I trust Scott Woodward, and I don't, we still don't know who's out and who's in.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, you still really don't know who's truly out.
Have you ever been this confused?
Is something with LSU? No.
I don't think. I mean, I just.
That's a good thing.
I'm pretty confident that it's all Lincoln Riley.
Because if it's
old Abe Lincoln.
Because you feel old Abe Lincoln. It feels like if it wasn't him, then you would have kept Napier in your back pocket, and he was okay with that. So
I mean, Napier hasn't signed a deal yet either.
Right. If it's one of those two, I'm still happy.
Some people think that Mark Stoops is the backup plan. I don't agree with that.
So you'd rather Napier than Stoops?
Yes. 100%.
Yes.
I mean.
Yes.
Not only, I mean, if you're getting to Stoops and O'Brien, did Lane Kiffin tell you no?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so many more, not so many, but there's more candidates that are qualified on the list, right?
That makes sense.
Before you get there, I mean,
you shouldn't have.
If he introduces Mark Stoops, I think one of the first questions that Scott Woodward would field would be, how many people told you no?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. It turns from success to failure in the first question.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
More people are covering it to know what happened as opposed to why it happened. Mm-hmm. Or how.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's been hires that didn't look very good. Like, they weren't the hire that the fan base wanted.
Yeah, right.
Like, nobody wanted Dabo at Clemson. They thought that was like, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we hiring Dabo? Dabo sucks. What are we doing? This, and now obviously they couldn't picture. They don't remember what life was like without Dabo.
They're just Dabo.
Dabba do.
It's not me on the contract.
But yeah, it's just like there's guys that come out and like they pan out because, but I don't know. This isn't that situation. I don't think.
Okay, we're gonna have we will have some content for you tomorrow. We'll get you set up for the day. Tiger Stadium tomorrow night for everybody. We're looking forward to closing out the regular season. Pre for sure, bro.
Let's go.
He's going to the game. He ain't going post game.
Post game, man.
Get to the point to do some post game from.
We'll definitely be here on Sunday, though.
Baby.
Sunday should be rocking. Scott Oldman says, hashtag Ask Jordy, if you get Lane, do you think he leaves LSU for Miami when it opens up? I don't think that you're getting Lane because I think he's going to Miami because I think it's going to open up here in the next 48 hours. Deal might already be done behind closed doors between Lane and Miami.
But if that weren't to happen and we did get Lane and that was a thing, I don't think he would leave for Miami.
No. I think he would. I think his first choice would probably be the LSU job.
It's a monster.
That would be his. That's the battle between his two brains, right?
Yes, that's
Lane
it.
NFL. I mean Lane
Lane
like college
football guy
or Lane
party
guy
or just Lane
Lane's
Kiffin.
Lane. Yeah.
I mean,
and
do
Miami.
I want to be Lane Kiffin? Do I want to be myself?
That interview.
Here's the
with
deal,
him
though.
and Le Batard,
I told you,
dude. It is. You have to watch it. It is. It's funny. He's like. It made me like him even more.
It.
Yeah, he's trying, and he keeps stepping in it.
Fighting it. He's like, I know my employer's probably listening. I'm making a lot of money to get paid to live in Oxford, but I just can't fake it. I cannot fake this, man.
Well, because they keep making him compare the two, and he's like, I mean, Lake Sardis with the Browns.
Yeah,
and he's
it's like a soup. It's like a bowl of soup.
He's like, I mean, they're on pontoon boats. He's like, I'm more of a yacht guy.
Yeah. It's great. It's a
so
great
funny.
interview.
They did Le Batard is a masterclass at that to get him
just
not
to break
uncomfortable,
down.
but get him to say something he really doesn't want to say, and then he just kind of lets it all hang out.
Yeah,
Look, I've already said enough.
Yeah, right.
Like, all right, let's go into it.
I was in Boca last weekend.
Yeah, still got my house there.
Yeah, I mean, he just goes all in.
If you're Ole Miss, you watch that, you're like, he doesn't want to be here at all.
Dwayne Official at Jordy, will you go live when LSU announces? Absolutely, we will be live as soon as they announce the coach.
On call.
Yeah, we are on standby. We're on standby, and that potentially could be tomorrow night. There could be a press release.
A post-game show.
I'm telling you, there could be a press release tomorrow night because I expect a press release coming from LSU tomorrow after the Texas A&M game that says Ed Orgeron has been relieved from being the LSU head football coach immediately. Like they're going to take away his key card to the facility tomorrow night. You know what I mean?
Right before the game.
Going to need that cell phone. Going to need all that. Get everything that's university, handed out. We're going to need that back. And at the end of the game tonight, you're cooked. It's over. You're done. We appreciate you. See you.
Here's your check.
Absolutely.
And here's a couple more that are going to be coming in the mail.
And there could be, a following press release that says Ed Orgeron is done, and then 15 minutes later you could get a press release comes to you that says LSU is hired, and a press conference will be coming on Monday at 11 a.m.
Here's what I
to
think.
officially announce it.
I think that they would just go one and just say this is the this is the coach. No, I'm not saying that they don't have the press conference, but they say this is the coach. I don't even think they need a press conference to say he's been relieved because he's already technically been relieved.
No, there's no press conference for that.
I mean,
they've already had that press conference.
I'm press release. I don't think they even need a press release saying he's been relieved because he's been relieved, right? He's been let go.
Well, I think the press release is to indicate that he's done today. Like, we all know that right now as we speak, he's done, but he still goes to work.
But
he's not going to be there on Sunday morning.
Would a new head coach announcement just automatically just make that assumption? Or no?
It would, but I think that you still have to put an official bookend to the Orgeron regime. Like, you still have to officially say LSU is recognizing that this is his last day at work.
Okay.
And you just have to have the press say, LSU sent over that Ed Orgeron is done and that the announcement on the new coach could come as soon as Monday. Or that the announcement of Lincoln Riley was made on, that press release came out at 10:45 on Orgeron. At 11 o'clock last night, LSU announced that they were hiring Lincoln Riley, and they're going to officially be at a press conference Monday at 11 a.m. I mean, that's how these things are supposed to work. And now LSU functions in a world where they kind of run the sports information and the brand the brand management the correct way now. I mean, this process of finding a new coach is, people are pissed off and aggravated and annoyed that you can't get information, but that's how it's supposed to be.
Work.
I mean, that's kind of how it's professionally supposed to be done. And I think that when you get announcements, it's very kind of by the book of how things are supposed to be done. That's why I say you'll get a press release on Orgeron, just because you have to give recognition that LSU is saying he's done officially. Like, he's not coming back to work. I know that we have fired him and he has been coaching them, but now he is officially off of
Relieved
the
of his
schedule.
duties.
Thank you, Coach O.
Yes, we appreciate. Yeah, and it's
They'll have a thank you, Coach O. At the
it's
on the
very
school board, I'm
complimentary.
sure.
It's
Yeah.
very, it'll be very complimentary.
Yeah.
Nobody's piling on.
Right.
Nobody's, and like I said, LSU has handled this buyout, or at least the language of this buyout, very smart in the sense of, Orgeron is under a 5-year pretty much gag order where he can't talk about anything, and that's what LSU wants. They don't want him out in the streets talking about, the business of LSU.
Are they counting on him to mess that up so they don't have to pay him a buyout?
I would think so.
Yeah. Let him step in it again.
Yeah, just let OBO.
That's
You
it.
know what I mean?
Oh,
But I mean, he
man.
gets $5 million, hits his bank account on December 16th.
No matter what.
No matter what.
That's what I'd be thinking. I'd be ankling got a $5 million buyout instead of 17 because he won't do something.
And $5 million to LSU athletics. By the, I know that everybody's kind of going through hard times and
perspective.
money is perspective. But $5 million is, I mean, you got that in the ashtray. They'll find that in the couch.
What's
know what I mean?
the advantage of him saying anything anyway?
I just don't think he can help himself.
Yeah.
It's not that he has any malice. It's that he
Right.
doesn't understand how to walk the line.
It's the phone call. It's the radio show.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't walk into that trap, man. That's somebody that you'll never meet.
You get him off
You'll
script.
never
Yeah.
see, and you put him into a room one night where you've got a camera rolling or somebody rolling a cell phone, and he starts to yapping, and he starts naming names and saying dumb stuff, and breaches his contract. And next thing you know, you've gone from 17 to 5, and we appreciate you. Now, mention another word, we'll see you in court. I mean, it just.
It's going to be hard for him not to say anything, man. Just knowing the way he is and knowing how he's handled it. It'll be the fishing camp again, where somebody has something and he's, whoops.
Yeah. You got something to say to me?
Let me go back to that 1 second.
I mean, just oof.
Take the open door.
What's the bet?
What is the bet?
What's the bet tonight? We got basketball. We got a little bit of football.
What is the LSU line actually in basketball?
I'm opening that up
That's
right
9.5. LSU is 9.5
Wow.
against
Wow.
UConn.
What's Penn?
They're getting
no,
a little
Penn State.
Penn State.
Penn State. I'm
Penn
sorry.
They're getting a
Penn State.
little.
I saw
They're
you
getting
on
some. They're
highlights.
getting some.
A little bit of
Get a
love.
little bit of respect.
Yeah,
I
for
think-
sure. I mean,
Get
we
a
got
little bit of
6.5.
respect.
Was it 6.5 or 5.5?
5.5. So now it feels a little inflated, doesn't it? 9.5 feels like too much. I feel like LSU's found, like you said.
Damn, they were giving away money in that.
I know.
in
I
that-
know.
in
We
that
didn't
Butler
pull the
game.
trigger.
No, not Butler.
Not Butler. Who is it?
Belmont.
Belmont.
I know. I told y'all that.
I know you did. They were giving, and we should have recognized it in warm-ups
Like
too.
you just
I mean,
the
like,
defensive
when you
length,
look at
like,
these
come
guys,
on,
like,
dude.
Hold up.
Where's my phone?
Right, 5.5.
Look, they're very well
I mean,
coached. They're very and they could probably shoot. But
That kid looks like he goes to St. Thomas More.
Exactly my thought. I was like, man, this looks like my high school
I mean,
basketball.
I was like,
team.
who's gonna
The starting 3 guards? I'm like, this
Who
looks
is
like my high
gonna
school team.
who's gonna guard Tari Eason? I mean, like nobody can match up with Brandon Murray out here.
Yeah.
I mean, this team doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, 9.5 is a little bit, but that's this is like a power. This is a big school, so like they
I
probably
just don't
have.
know anything about them.
3-1.
I don't know anything about them. They can't be that good.
I mean,
You know
We
what?
pulling the trigger on the Tigers
I'm
until
riding
we
it.
don't? All right.
I'm riding it 9.5. Actually, what's the over under?
No, that's a different question.
Yeah, let's see over under.
Let me see.
I'm at Barstool Sportsbook right now. How about Alabama getting beat by Iona and Rick Pitino?
Oh no,
Man,
I like Patino, dude. I like that he's over there.
Dickie V pissed me off
know.
at Pitino.
I
That was
know.
always his kind of go-to. But as long as we all recognize that
Yeah,
Pitino is a habitual cheater,
Right.
Like he got fired from Hawaii in like 1977
get fired from Iona.
for paying kids in the gym.
Right.
Like you can go back and read the I mean, like when he was an assistant in Hawaii, he was cheating. And I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect it because Pitino saw like kind of the old heads above him that were doing it, and he was saying, I want to get there. I want to run a championship program. I see how these guys are doing it. But one thing you can't discount is that
He can coach, dude.
that cat can flat coach basketball, and he had Nate Oates in Alabama spinning.
He's
yesterday.
at Iona because he loves basketball.
Yeah,
Like,
Coach, he went and coached in Greece
Yeah.
during his time off.
And won a championship.
He's got he doesn't just got basketball money. He's got like horse racing money.
Right.
Like he's got like thoroughbred money into the in the bank. Like Rick, you ain't got to do this, bro.
Loves it.
He loves it, which is great. Like that's good for Iona because Iona's like always sneaks into the tournament. They're like a turn. They've been in a tournament a couple times, I think.
They were in there last year.
Yeah. So,
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So like,
Absolutely.
I love it. I like it. I like when coaches like him, who still have it,
Lifers.
go to a smaller school and like you kind of forget about Pitino, and then all of a sudden they beat Alabama. Like, oh my God, Pitino is coaching Iona, and they're winning against big teams. Like, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Well, and look, he put people on alert yesterday. Like, that wasn't a fluke.
No, that was
like,
straight up
I
win.
didn't get to watch the game.
That was a straight up like, we outcoached you, we outplayed you, and we just had about as good of players as you in some spots. I mean, Alabama was the better man-for-man team, but no doubt about it that Iona played harder. They were they were very much well prepared and better coached on the team yesterday, and that's something that you're going to run into with Pitino.
Yep. So what's the over/under?
Over/under 142.5.
142.5.
And
You know LSU is going to get you 85.
And they've held every team to under 60 points.
Here's the deal,
this
though. If
year.
they score 80,
80-70
if they score 80, they're going to. I mean, I don't think they hit both.
What's the number?
142.5.
I don't think they hit both the over and the spread. I think if they hit the spread, they're getting the under.
If I would play anything on the game, I would take LSU.
Which one?
Minus the 9.5.
Oh, okay.
I would take them with the points.
Let's do it. That's the bet.
Oh, it's down to 9.
Bam.
Boom, 9.
Love coming in on Penn State. We'll take that. To LSU 10-point win. Opening round of the Emerald Coast Classic.
Yeah, they always play bad in these tournament games, though.
We'll see, man. First
Different
time
team.
away from it's the only thing that leaves you a little bit weary. First time away from Maravich Center.
Yeah.
But
it is a cracker box.
But defense travels.
Defense travels.
And we've been playing some really good defense. In the past it's like, man, if we don't make our shots and we don't score a bunch of points, it's gonna be tough. I think our defense is going to travel, and our defense is going to just generate offense.
Last of Adon, is that what it is? I don't know. The last post, Feldman info is absolute garbage. Yeah, because it's coming from Panamsky and Ogeron.
What Feldman? Oh, the Lincoln Riley stuff?
Yeah, I mean, and Feldman deleted the tweet about Riley not coming.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That's a telltale sign right there.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean,
he's kind of... Has Feldman always played this game like this?
I
feel like he was pretty respected, and this has not been a good look for him.
I didn't know that he played it that hard. I don't know that he ever doubled down as much as he did through this process of taking that information. I mean, you had to know that information was very jaded.
Maybe he didn't know.
From Panamsky.
Maybe he didn't know because maybe Panamsky hasn't given him any bad information because he hasn't been in a situation to give him bad information.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
You know,
trusted him so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten him to this point. It got him a couple of book deals.
Yeah.
So I mean, I do get it. But you have to have judgment in your position of saying, what's.
Take a step back. What's actually happening?
Yeah, where's everybody's kind of head at on this? All right, everybody have a great day. Appreciate y'all for stopping by as always.
Game
Make sure and hit the like. Yes, 11 a.m.
11 a.m.
Really?
Yeah.
10 a.m. for basketball.
Hey, honestly, we've talked about this. This is my favorite holiday day of the year. The Friday after
Black Friday?
Yeah, because there's nothing.
TVs.
There's nothing going.
We
got TVs.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't do it, but I mean,
nice.
I saw a couple of the orders come through, and then we got a little security, got some TVs, getting the internet hooked up tomorrow at the new DL.
Dude.
I'm telling you, we're going to be open and operating. If we could have a Christmas party, that would be phenomenal. But I think
just
that's
gotta get that
little
furniture out.
ambitious. Little ambitious.
Well, the whole thing wouldn't be done by Christmas.
Hey, but you know what? We've been ambitious the whole
New
time.
Year's,
We've
yeah,
been
a little
ambitious
New Year
this whole
party.
time, though. I like ambition.
Carl Dunn asked Jordy, have you talked to Stingley Sr. yet lately? Yes. Living the good life right now.
Not in
Really get in there.
Yeah, I did
really get in there.
He's living
Really
a good
get
life.
in there.
All right, have a great day. Make sure and hit the like, share button. We'll be back with you at some point tomorrow just to give you a little game day lead up. And we will talk about LSU, obviously, this opening. But expect Lincoln Riley to be announced Sunday or Monday, folks. That's the stance of the Jordy Culotta
Or
show.
maybe Jimbo, or maybe
what the hell do we
Napier,
know?
Or maybe Coach O gets a job. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, right.
I'm just joking.
Have a good Friday.
Feldman was right all along.
Don't shop too hard today.
Don't take me serious. Shop T's drop, baby.
Sandwiches. It's sandwich day.
Make sure you said don't get in fights. There's been always Black. I love seeing the Black Friday fights.
Oh, when I was in high school, I went and filmed Black Friday and put it on YouTube. We
That's
did
good
like
stuff. That's good
interviews.
content.
It was.
That's when you
funny.
knew. That's when
we
you knew.
wore suits.
I mean,
You knew your place.
In the
You knew where you're going.
in the day and age of Amazon and online shopping, I mean, is that really necessary anymore?
Well, see, this was pre-Amazon.
Those are the days.
It was wild.
Those are the days.
I've never done Black Friday.
Ever.
Don't. You should.
I've never woken up early and said, you know
Ever,
what? I'm going
Coach.
to wake up and I'm going to sit in line and I'm going to bull rush
Coach,
this poor security guard that's sitting in front of this door.
I don't know if there is an item out there
that is cheap enough.
that I'll
tell you what, if they had a
that would push
PS5 that
me
was on half
to
off,
that.
I'd be there.
Really?
I think.
You wouldn't get it.
I'm not even a gamer, but like for the simple fact that like, and honestly, I'd probably do it for the new DL.
Well, get out there, dude.
Yeah.
No,
You give me that credit card, I'll go stand in line.
They're not half off. They can't even get them.
Well,
Did
yeah,
PlayStation play that like perfectly? Like they've kept the demand for PS5 so high for 3 straight years.
well, what happened was a lot of people did like they set up bots to buy them, and so they have an excess of like 60 PS5s that they sell for $1,000 instead of 500.
Right, but what I'm saying is like, yeah, but that always happens though.
Not like this. It's like the worst that's ever happened from what I've read. I don't know. I'm not a big gamer guy either, but that's just what I read.
I got you, but because I want one.
Me too.
Just
If
to
it
have
was
one, like,
if
I'll-
it was
like,
easy to buy, I'd probably
Look,
have one.
NCAA's coming back out. Like I want it.
Yeah.
I want to play that again. That's literally the only games I would play.
Perfect.
It's like I want to play that
Thanksgiving
again. Exactly. Perfect freshman year in college.
Oh.
Tournaments, bro.
Oh, dude.
I mean, just like dynasties.
Bo Didier tore his Tommy John because we were playing
No.
NCAA. We were playing. This is our freshman year. We're in WCA, bro. He's in my room. We're playing. We had individual workouts, and he forgot that his was a certain time. He had to go there. Took my car. He didn't have a car. Got there.
Not ready.
changed. Get on the field. 2 minutes to go until time. And coach like, you ready? He goes, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. 3 throws across diamond, torn UCL. I'm like, Bo, dude, just warm up. It's okay. Run the lap instead of having a year off.
Or just take the year off.
Then,
But he was so good at NCAA after that.
Then, yeah, he played with UW because he's from Washington. He kept running the same fucking
Jake Locker.
the same fucking crossing route every time.
Chris Peterson.
Yeah, he'll tell you 3
Can't
plays.
stop it.
3 plays like Novocaine.
Like,
So fuck-
just give it time, it always works.
But then coach said, hey, you know what? We'll give you one at bat before your surgery against God, who was it? It was against Villanova. Hey, you want that bat? We're beating them on Sunday. You want that bat? You have a surgery on Tuesday just to kind of get the feel. Yeah, sure. Homer. Home run. 1-for-1 with a homer surgery 2 days later. What a
Best hitter on the team, dude.
What
Got it
a,
foul.
yeah. It was unbelievable.
Guess you don't need me.
Unbelievable.
All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great Friday. Go Chevrolet, GEAUX, Chevrolet.com.